welcome back to the Blast R6 Manchester Major. We have the first best of 3 of Phase 2 coming your way, and this time it's Team Bliss up against Team Secret. Both of these teams currently 2-0, yet to suffer a loss in this phase of the Major. And if anything, this is a straight ticket to that main stage.
This really is. This is the team that's going to go to main stage top 8. It's a big battle. The best team in Australia versus the best team in Europe, arguably, based on what we've seen
just
so
lost
far.
PSG, so
I mean,
like,
you got to give it to them at that point.
Yeah, and we saw ITB get 7-0'd earlier today. G2 already went home, so it seems like Secret have that title.
Yeah, it seems like EU is maybe not necessarily on the best one today, but Bliss, they have been coming in hot. They are 2-0 up right now. Yesterday, we saw it with the celebrations, Lax. Not only was Bliss celebrating, Bleed was celebrating, and even Dev went and celebrated with them.
100%, and they need to, right? Because this is a team from a region that has historically struggled in many aspects. We often see the OCE region not show up to big events. Bliss, for the last year or so, have been climbing the ladder. They've been consistently making majors. They've made it to SI, and they've been winning games off of top teams. Now seems like the first time where we're actually seeing Bliss with a serious shot of playing main stage top 8.
Yeah, and I talked about it yesterday, too. It's like, it's just about experience for them, and the more and more they keep showing up here, it's the experience that they keep gaining.
Yeah, and particular experience for Team Secret is crucial here as well. This is a team that so far has shown that they have exactly what it takes to be able to perform on LAN.
They absolutely do. And then looking at Secret here, I mean, this team alone, they have been proving many different people wrong. I mean, going into phase, I thought, wow, you're going to verse the team that almost won the most recent World Championship. And they won in a very convincing style on Chalet, beating them 7-3, which was super impressive. And for me, guys, FaZe is a team that adapts very quickly to their teams that they're playing against. They are one of the best teams to do that. So for them to get the 7-3 over FaZe was impressive. Then you go to push it into DZ, another very structured team, and you close it out at 7-5. Sure, it was a little closer, but still, it just shows the mental fortitude and just the teamwork and team power that this team has that they can put together and put them in a position where now they can find themselves on main stage.
Yeah, and when we're looking at these teams particularly, we're looking at one of the strongest attacking teams. Again, one of the strongest defensive teams. So this is the perfect test to see who comes out on top.
Absolutely, and we see the percentages now. These two squads have been very, very strong. Bliss on the attack, of course, 90% attacking win rate through the events thus far. They have been absolutely fantastic. That is the best of the tournament. And Team Secret, 70% defensive win rate, also the highest of any team in the tournament. Now, it's important to note, sample sizes are pretty small on both of these, 10 rounds or so for both teams. So that's always going to be important to keep in mind. Those likely will go down as they play more rounds, but still it speaks to the successes they've had. I think Bliss on the attack have been slow and steady. It's their play style. They will handle aggression very, very well. They've been doing that here at the Major. And Secret, playing unexpected sometimes. A very fast team in contrast, doing really well on those defensive roams.
They got the tape measurements out like the players mean business. Everybody's setting up, and we're also ready to head into the competition because something to keep in mind here is that this is a best of 3. It's no longer a one map where you both compromise and try to get your best one. It's 3 maps, and you try to play a little bit of mind games. You want to get yourself ahead in the best possible scenario to be able to close it out. And with similar map pools, I'm interested where we're going to be going.
Yeah, we're going to start up with Bank. I mean, this has been Secret's most played map so far this season, so lots of VODs might be part of the reason why Bliss chose to play Bank. It's also a very good map for Bliss. They're on a 3-game win streak here, beating FaZe Clan back at SI, a 7-0 win back home through Stage 1, and then a win here in Manchester, 7-5 over M80 just yesterday.
Yeah, and then you're looking at this border. Again, both teams play these maps as well. They're very familiar with it. Again, it makes sense why Secret actually is going to pick that map. Sorry, I thought that it was going to switch the defenses below. So it makes sense for Secret to pick this map. I am curious to see what that third map is, but I do want to talk about Bank specifically. Obviously, both teams have played it here at this event so far. They both have quick VODs, know what everyone does. But that's the beauty of it, though, that both teams do have a general understanding, because then it's really about to come down to who's adapting and who's realizing where they're making mistakes or where the flaws are being made on the other teams.
And so we'll find out this final map as well. Both teams going to be going for it. It will be Clubhouse. And I think if you're Secret, you're quite happy with this. This is their favorite map. They ran it 4 times through EUL Stage 1, starting the stage with back-to-back wins. They lost it once to Fnatic, and then they beat Wolves in that 3rd place match. So we see Secret play it a ton. For Bliss, it's also common. 3-0 in Australia this season. But back at SI, they did struggle a little bit. 2 losses through that tournament.
Yeah, we're looking at these teams so far, and they've had phenomenal performances on the LAN at this point. They are sitting at 2-0. They have similar map pools. It's been a terrible day for Europe so far. So when I'm going to ask you here, Lax, if you have a favorite considering the maps that we've just been shown, do you think either one of these teams has the upper hand?
I want to say Secret has had the hardest matchup so far leading into Phase 2. So that alone, beating FaZe, beating Dark Zero, I'm going to have to say I'm going to go with Secret here.
All right.
Yeah, I have to agree. You know, I go back to that FaZe game with Team Secret. Them picking Chalet or forcing the map pool to go to Chalet really was an upset, and I don't think FaZe Clan were ready for that. Again, picking Border feels like a bit of a curveball. That's not a map that we see Secret picking a ton. They've only played it once this season. It was a 7-5 loss to ITB. So this is going to be another way where they're playing the map veto, I think, a little bit better than Bliss, and assuming they've been practicing this in the back lines, it's going to be a big shocker.
All right, well, let's see whether or not those predictions are going to come to fruition, because we're ready to head into the first map of the series with Ace and Dez and their new friend, Fresh on Cast.
Fresh on Cast.
Oh,
look at him.
you guys are matching. This has to be pre-planned.
I know. It wasn't pre-planned at all. He just thought, you know what, if it's coming on today, then he's got to bring a shirt for the job.
We just all have a strong shirt game. That's all it's about.
We need to coordinate on the button-up, though.
I
need to get you two guys in sync on that, because you don't. You do.
If ever you wear a fully buttoned-up shirt without a tie, you are a loser. Nah. Yeah. Shock horror. Des and Tim disagree on something. Who thought? One day, Tim, one day. We'll get you there.
When you look this good, you button up as many buttons as you want.
All right, mate. All right. Right, we're getting into it then. Bank for our first map, and a pretty torn prediction here. 45 to 55, still mostly leaning towards Secret. And I think that's the general sentiment we're getting for this game. We've been debating it throughout the day, and many are saying, oh, Secret have got this one. Others are saying, nah, Bliss are going to get that 3-0 there through as well. It's a hard game to call, and that's expected when both teams are 2-0, right?
Yeah, I think both teams have probably overperformed expectations, I think you could say, inside of this major so far. It's been coming, certainly on the side of Bliss. Every single event, they just have another nibble. They get a little bit better and go a little bit further. And I think if you look at these guys, considering the region they come from, the lack of scrim quality they have, they need this time event to be basically to scrim teams to get more valuable experience and then to improve. This is their improvement kind of corridor, if you will. And for Team Secret, this is a new team on the block. This is, you know, teams that picked up, you know, players. It's a rebuild, more or less, in terms of Team Secret. Overachieved in EUL to make the major, and then even overachieved so far in this major to be in the 2-0 game.
You might be looking at the ace ban here and thinking, what's that all about? Normally you'd see Habana as a ban optionally on this map, given how many hatches there are. This is because I'm pretty sure Secret have gone back and looked at the game that Team Bliss played yesterday, and pretty much the whole time they were bringing along the ace. Every round it was there. Habana was in 4 of them, but ace is their go-to hard breach. So that being taken away is no big surprise. And then seeing the Ying and the Solars coming out of the other side of Bliss, these are the same bans they had yesterday against M80, Tim.
Yeah, exactly that. You've got. I always look at that when it comes down to the operator bans. I think, is it too predictable? The other team are going to be well prepared for it. You know, you bring in the same things. We'll see whether they get.
Same with the Kai. They played that 3 times yesterday too. So no surprise. Good target bans.
This is it. We'll see. You know how well those predictions go and how it's going to impact this one.
Quick pause before we get into it. Gives you lots of time to yap then, Fresh. Away you go.
I could do lots of yapping.
Yap.
The map bans were curious, actually. I think we talked about it, actually, Des, with both teams, I think, getting maps that they like, but also that the opponent likes. I think when you get that, sometimes inside the best of threes, you can try and look to basically put your foot on the throat of the opponent by taking them to a map that they don't like, really put them under pressure, make them feel uncomfortable. And that's one avenue you can go down with your map bans. Or you can go down another avenue where you say, actually, look, let's just get on a map that we like, but also you like, and it should produce, I guess, some of the best.
And let's all have a good
that
time.
You would expect, yeah. So I think when you get into these vetoes and you're looking at 2 teams, there's obviously a lot on the line because they're playing for a main stage, but all 3 will be playing on maps that they like. They will be playing all 3 maps that they're fairly comfortable with. Even the decider of Clubhouse, for example, that was when Team Secret came in the very first game on Clubhouse in EUL. The very first round of Clubhouse on EUL was where Adrian, and I've talked about him now, it gets a 1 versus 3 or whatever it is.
The game hasn't even started, Tim, and he's already talking about Adrian.
But even on that, it's a map that Secret loved during EUL, and Clubhouse for Team Bliss. I remember them taking, I think, W7M and Wolves all the way in SI on that map as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of looking back into history a little bit there to get that full look at what they're like on this map. And admittedly, Bank is a good one to start. 2-0, 3-1. They've both got a good recent history over the last 2 or 3 months on this map. Every time you see him, are you just going to be saying this?
Yeah, I'm like a proud dad. That's the only reason I'm here today. I'm basically Adrian fan club.
So much bias coming in here, isn't there?
It's a joke, isn't it? Imagine that.
No, but
bias
it's nice.
towards his boy. Nah, it's not.
What?
I just remember us running around.
I mean, you know, I'll back Wettables on the other side. Me and Wettables are regulars in each other's stream. You know, we check in.
Yeah, obviously as we're in the tech pause now, I go into Wettables' stream a lot as well, and I say,
all right, guys, you can stop trying to pretend you're his best friend.
He comes into my stream a lot as well. Yeah. Anyway, we've made an agreement that I'm going to join Bliss. And I'm going to call myself Dry Cabinet. So you're going to have wet tables and Dry Cabinet. Yeah.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
It's just not, we're waiting on the paperwork.
A duo for the ages, that one.
Yeah, no.
Expect this to get underway. See something pause. What's going on? Hopefully no more water spillage, because we've had that twice so far, Tim. It feels
Who
like
was it yesterday?
I forget who it was, but I feel like we're allowed. Yeah, we're allowed one a day, and we've already had our one today. That's come early.
It was today, and I can't remember who yesterday.
People just get too excited.
It was late on yesterday, so fair enough. They'd had a long day, and I think maybe focus was slipping a little bit, as was the water bottle.
All over the table, apparently. Saying that, every time I've tried to open a water bottle here so far, it has been a bit of a disaster.
I have seen Des spill no fewer than 3 water bottles.
Really?
Just trying to open them.
Well, now he's exaggerating. It's 2.
It was 4.
It's 2.
Should we settle at 3?
No.
How about that?
No, he's changed the
Definitely
goalpost.
5 when I think about it.
This is slander. This is unbelievable. In we go, though. Round number 1 is now underway, so should be able to get ourselves into game and get things moving pretty quickly. No surprises at all. We're going to start things down in the basement for Secret's defensive half.
See how they're going to set up then. It's going to be, let's have a look down that operator lineup for the defense. No mirror being brought along, even though available. Instead, Secret opting for the Valkyrie for a little bit of intel, a little bit of everything going on here, Fresh. We've got a bit of intel, we've got a bit of denial, we've got the FNATs coming along.
I'm actually loving the castle, to be fair, with Grubby. Because obviously what they're trying to do is they're trying to roam, they're trying to basically waste as much time as they can, forcing Team Bliss to full clear throughout the full top floor of the map, as we've got a rehost. But I will just carry on talking about it. I will talk about how the theory behind that works, which is that when you bring the castle and you choose to roam on the basement bomb site off bank, what you're looking to do is waste as much time. That's the key thing, the key factor. Waste as much time on the top 2 floors, and you're looking to get back down to site as all 5 defenders. And ideally, you've taken a pick and burned a lot of time and burned a lot of drones, if possible as well. That is like the absolute ideal outcome.
I'm always a big fan of seeing castle. I always say to Tim, whenever I see it picked up, I'm always like,
you've got a plan. You've got a castle. You've got
don't bring in spontaneously, do you? Know, to kind of go, oh, you know what, that looks like it needs a castle barricade on.
Nobody brings him for the gun, do they? Let's be honest. He's got the ACOG.
They do now.
They get brought
we saw
for the
this
gun.
yesterday. We were talking about it then.
Scope, not for the gun.
Yeah, he's a changed man now.
He's not one of those that generally, if the pro teams are bringing castle, there's a very clear strat. There's a very clear plan. It's, you know, it's about, like you say, control. It's about, you know, facilitating.
I love him because he's one of those like architects, right, that we speak about. You know, the mirror, the castle, the Azami really transform how sites can be played. I'm curious to get your take, actually. We haven't had a chat about this yet. What you enjoyed?
I was just looking at.
Did you see Adrian on the screen?
Twister was staring into my soul there.
I see. I thought he was just. I thought he saw Adrian again and was just really happy all of a sudden.
No.
My favourite Canadian com of all time, incidentally. Twister!
I love it. I stepped in here for the first cast, and all I had was Troy for 45 seconds just going off at Beast Coast.
Yeah.
Like, non-stop, and I was like, bro, I haven't even started casting yet. Like, come on. You can hear him anywhere in this venue.
He was our moment from yesterday as well, wasn't he? You're in a nightmare!
Yeah, the pre-death today, that was fantastic.
Major wouldn't be the same without Troy, would it? I'm just thinking about that.
It wouldn't.
You're just begging Dark Zero to qualify every event. Just
you get a couple of out. I think about like Rampy historically has had a few like lippy moments as well. I know we've seen do the same. Yeah,
Kangaroo
Kenny's making the list now as well.
Once or twice
as well.
Yeah, it's been good, man. Oh, Ashen. Yeah, Ashen's
piped up once or twice.
I liked Kendrew's. Was it yesterday on their first game? I can't remember who it was. And he was telling me the context.
It was ITB versus SFG.
Yeah, but he'd 180'd somebody and killed them, and he was telling me the context. He was like, if somebody's been 180'd by me, they must be bad. But what the camera caught in her is he just went, "You stink." I was like, that is a British comp.
Ain't it just? I'm curious to get your thoughts actually on this, because we spoke about it a few times throughout the last couple of days. Is some teams are still banning away the Azami, some aren't, and then they're going heavy into DMRs to deal with those instead, right? What's your take on the right thing to do? Is it more if a team feels comfortable playing double DMR that actually it's an okay thing to not ban away, or do you think it's still really a high ban operator you need to be taking out?
I think in most lineups you can find space to bring a DMR. If you think about most teams, they will pretty much always bring a Lion, a Twitch, or a Dokkaebi. Obviously, Dokkaebi gets banned out a lot, but you usually can force in a Lion or a Twitch if you've got a comfortable DMR player. You're really silly not to. It depends. I think it's more an ideology thing. Is there another operator that is worse for you than Azami?
Yeah.
If you're leaving Azami up, so I don't know, say droning, for example, with the Solace. If your drone or your whole game plan on attack relies around the drone network in pre-placed locations to take map control quickly, you have to ban the Solace.
Yeah.
Because if not, you can't rely on that. So then, at that point, your kind of cost of doing that is that you've got Spring DMR to deal with these armies, or a Flores, to be fair.
Or that. Fair enough, I was just curious. Ask him while he's here, make him do some work.
Yeah.
This is it. We've got to make use of that big old brain.
I just did an EUL desk with Fabian. That
was a throwback.
Yeah, it was like, I'm nervous for this one. I've actually got to interview him.
Are you proud of seeing his progress?
Am I proud of seeing Fabian's progress?
Or are you just frothing at the top about his success?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I was like this during the station. I don't know if I want Fabian and PSG Talent to succeed or not. There's a few layers to that. Yeah, no.
Because you know that I'll never let you live it down. I saw him the other day.
It just makes him look like the best coach ever, and he doesn't even speak the same language.
He was giving right stick to Goga and Hungary the other day about this, actually.
Was he?
Yeah. I can't remember what they were talking about, but I think Goga and Hungary came in to have a bit of like a jab at him, and he was like, well, let's all calm down now. We're all former G2 players. Some of us more successful than the others. So I was just like, ooh.
I tell you who does want him to fail. G2. Because when he was with G2 as coach, he won the SI.
Yeah.
And obviously they're out of the major. And he's now making Talon look like incredible team as well.
I was saying this to Tim earlier as well, like looking at the players on that team, you think back on the teams they used to be on, like Soldier, maybe Stinky Player, a couple of them on that team, you'd look at and just go, you guys were on real mid-teams in previous years, never really going anywhere, and now look.
I don't even think they expected to be here.
I'll be independent, mate.
Mad.
Best coach in the world.
Madness, no. Don't, because I'm going to have to deal with this on EUL. Let's talk about the game. They brought the castle again. Do you know what? Sure, Des. They brought the castle again. We're going to be looking to do this top floor row. And actually, sometimes when you see the roams, teams will just concentrate the roams around open area specifically, maybe tellers, archives, and try and drop back through the red hatch, which is the hallway hatch into the basement. But actually, as it looks like it is for Team Secret, they're actually going to try and play all the way up on the top floor. Savage is up there on the army. He can play inside of this stock trading room here and cover up a lot of angles with his army that then facilitates multiple drops and multiple layers that Team Bliss are going to have to clear.
Fisher going straight in there to clear out one of those castles. It's going to be the one into open area from printer window. That one will be gone. So a little bit less security for the rotations back towards site potentially. They haven't been able to push anybody in there yet. Savage still unfound, I think. Doom at the top of marble stairs as well. So plenty of presence. Secret certainly not scared of the clearance that's coming in from Bliss. We're going to have the Dokkaebi calls as well. But nobody really pushing behind those just yet. But however, Savage gets caught out big time there as he goes for a little peek on the double door into top square, and Wettables is just that second ahead, a little bit of siege timing as Wettables gets himself onto the roof into safety and gets himself an entry.
I feel throughout the tournament so far we've seen teams take a couple of rounds to get the feel for each of them as well. What is it they're going to be playing like here? And I think Savage has already just set the benchmark there. Doesn't matter if you're playing one of these architects that we were talking about, already super early in the round looking to find himself a quick kill. And so for Bliss, I think it's the right idea to take things a little bit slow here and not feel like they've got to rush their way through the map. Breathe it a little bit, let Secret be the ones to make the mistakes and get too aggressive and punish them for that.
The big problem with this is the roamers have to stay up now, and if they fall off, as we're seeing Doom here, if Grubby falls off here, they're playing a 4v5 with having opened up all the hatches for the attackers, giving them loads of time. So Savage has put his team already by dying on his army under a lot of pressure, and this is why we're seeing Grubby still trying to find a pick before he goes down. We're now in a situation where there's 1 minute 15 left. They're all back on site. They don't really have a lot of denial other than the smoke. Valkyrie C4 has been used, so there's no denial. They're going to have to look to try and do an alternative, maybe a retake, to actually win this round, because Bliss have got man advantage and now utility and time advantage.
Miracles you play out on blue stairs, and of course the Fenrir doesn't necessarily have the kit that you would want to try and hold on to these blue stairs. He does have the FNAT for anybody pushing in, but normally we'd see a ward in there, for example, with the shotgun for that close range encounter, with the glasses to prevent him being flashed, and just to make it more difficult. I feel like Miracle's going to be fairly easily dealt with. We start seeing exactly why. He's going to get caught from both sides. It should be a really easy closeout, but the FNAT comes to his rescue. How have they messed this up? Bliss could have had him dead immediately there. Instead, they lose one. Not the end of the world, but it's the Thermite that's gone in first.
And you can see why as well, without that warden that we keep on speaking about. You're going to get punished by those flashes. At least walks away with one, but it's a 4 versus 3. Now we've got the plan coming in right behind the bomb chassis. Sage also goes in deep here as well. Groovy's found one for himself. Fisher now picking up the diffuser, but he's inside a smoke. Wedables with it all to do. He's not going to have the time. Joom continues going nuclear with a 3K.
Wow, what a round there. I think particularly the first big mistake was the Savage on the Azami dying, put his team under a lot of pressure. But Miracle has done a miracle up on those blue stairs, and you have to call out Bliss a little bit for that mistiming. The way you would normally deal with that is you Capital Fire off the bottom of the stairs, which is exactly what they did. He cannot be playing that tuck spot at the bottom of the stairs, and then you double swing the guy. Two players have to walk in, and what happened is one of the players walked in and the other was still out there on square. You can see Miracle gets the opportunity here to get up and get one kill, and after that there was a lot of time pressure. The smoke obviously downed the player that was planting, and Joom mopped up from there. I think Bliss in that very, very late round made the right decision. I think they had to go in deep after they lost the Thermite. Couldn't start baiting out the default stuff. They had to try and push in deep and just force numbers, but there's always an element of that going wrong when it's under such time pressure.
It's the key one with the Capital thinking, I ain't got to push him for a gunfight here. I can just fire off the bottom of the stairs, right? And then he's got to force his way upstairs and go for the 1v1. But also, like you say, fire doesn't exactly shoot at you. You're still in the spotlight once you've won that fight at top stairs. Stairs is then yours to hold.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, again, where it comes down to really fine margins of small mistakes and changes that get made throughout the round. A couple being made by both sides there, but ultimately, Secret prevail and get the round. Now, Adrian up on Tamira really digging in a bit of a fortress here as we go for open and staff as round 2's defense.
Yeah, Secret just going to be wanting to hold on to top 4 as long as possible. So much verticality possible on this one. It's basically the complete opposite of the basement that they've just played, where there is practically no verticality, just a couple of hatches. But this time, Bliss, they're going to surely want to get into that top floor and open things up a little bit. Although saying that, not a lot of soft breach on side. They've got the Rotero drones, but apart from that, not many options. So it might not actually be too much of a focus. They could kind of play around that mirror utility by just not playing into it.
Yeah, it's always a curious one. Do you want to try and work through all of the utility, be low on time and execute? They've literally just been burned by that. Or do you want to try and ignore it and do something direct? Secret are very clearly bringing that lineup. As you say, the castle, the Azami, the mirror is very, very difficult to deal with, and the warden on the shield. But the big operator for me here is the Fenrir as well, because the Fenrir, as we saw, it can stop these kind of lurks and pushes into key locations. Obviously, we saw Miracle get a big kill on it through the F-Nat in the last round as well.
Here they come as well. He's Copy being smoked to try and draw a little bit of attention, and attention enough. Miracle had his eyes on Copy, gets beamed from behind instead, so first opening kill coming on through. And Bliss, 5v4 is hardly a huge advantage, but it's a starting moment. You've still got more than half of the round to play. Fisher guy also under pressure, still on that Copy window. Feels like he can't safely bolt inside, and Brando's a little bit pinned here by the player inside of Archive. So it's always going to be a bit of a half-half attack so far for Bliss, unless they can clear these players out. But Secret are clearing shots so far. One still inside of Archives, one inside of Admin to worry about. But Huddersfield with 2 against 4, it's not one of those you can pull over the finish line, Tim.
Yeah, and I like the adaptation from Secret here. They got themselves set up on the top floor. They've abandoned a lot of that utility. They've recognised, you know what, there's no push coming in here. We're going to drop away. Adrian on the mirror has moved into Archives, for example. They haven't been able to clear him out, and he's going to hurt them if they don't. He's moved himself back into Tellers for the time being, but with a minute on the clock, he's going to give it another 30, 40 seconds, then he's going to be back into Archives to challenge if he needs to. They're going to come to him, so he manages to find his kill onto Sage, takes him down, and that's now 1 versus 4. Brendo has got a ton of work to do.
Man.
Unlikely to find more than one, I'd have said here.
Drawing lines around Adrian at this point as well, who can just slip his way backwards, and Brendo's now left a little bit helpless. Those Fenrirs across both rounds have had such a massive impact. We know they're a frustrating gadget to deal with, but maybe there's now an argument for Bliss. Have got to bring something to deal with that.
Yeah, I think maybe they start bringing the Twitch instead of, you know, we saw the Flores in that round. I think for Bliss, their big mistake that round was not clearing the utility or not hitting site. They kind of just divered. They didn't do either, and it gave Secret a really good read that they could abandon their utility upstairs, because if you're going to ignore the utility, because the way most teams would attack that is they would take control of the top floor, they would work vertically, maybe look to drop the hatch, and basically squeeze the defenders into a location that is free from verticality, that is very claustrophobic. If you're not going to do that on that site, on open area, you have to go fast to take the site, because the defenders can just drop back. They can rotate down the hatches, down the stairs very, very fast. and that's where Bliss fell short. They got the opening kill. That should have been the trigger to hit the site and overwhelm the site with all 5 people onto the 1-2 players on site. Because actually, you can't hold a lot of open area, especially the kitchen side, from the verticality. But they didn't. They basically just stood still, and that was basically, as soon as they did that, that was Secret winning the round because they read into that really well.
Up and running.
Some work to be done because so far it does feel like a very dominant Secret start. Bliss has still got to change a couple of things up. Sure enough, there's that Twitch coming on side as expected. Also got the Monty coming up here to help front some of these attacks. I think probably past the day when Monty would be seen as kind of a crutch operator. Things aren't going well. Let's slow down the game. Put him as our spearhead. He can be a bit more aggressive now. He's arguably more oppressive than ever he used to be previously. So I feel like it's a kind of Bliss wanting to control the game a little bit more here. Still looking to be aggressive.
He might be the best attacker in the game right now. Actually, every shield is
may disagree.
I mean, we've seen triple shield straps from a lot of teams at this major. It just goes to show how much that, well, one, the Legion nerf, the Impact nerf, and their general changes to shields, we've been able to sprint with them as well, has just how far that's gone. Because we're seeing every team play so many shields this event.
Order's taken a good bit of damage there, just trying to get in through that main door. Going to be swapping places with Wettables looking to head in instead on the Monty this time. Maybe try and just get a little bit of a push going up Spiral. We've seen that quite often with the shields. But yeah, the Twitch just recognising how important that gadget was going to be, but gets taken out without managing to hit that shot.
Why would he jump that? Why would he not just drive it through the drone hole and get the mirror window through the drone hole? As soon as you do the jump, it gives the sound cue, and obviously the mirror, I think it was Miracle, has flicked that drone. That mirror window will now stay up.
A pain, unless of course they can find themselves getting the Astra position to deal with it, but you've got a Wamai to worry about chewing through at the same time. So making life more complicated for themselves than maybe it needs to be here, but as we said at round start, Wettables on this Monty, the main one you want to be following. I saw him pushing out towards Lobby earlier on, no doubt Spiral part of his push, but also got a couple of players working in towards Square. So very much this two-sided attack coming in from Bliss. Already half the round gone, though, and as said, they can't get rid of that mirror.
I'm actually quite confused about this, because when you bring the Monty, you normally go for lobby. Your breacher is then on Kanto to open the wall and do a lobby take. But all of the other players are on the Square side, so this isn't a conventional attack that you'd normally see.
Monty's too strong.
The question now is, who does the work with the Monty? Even Monty's not going to be doing the work, as Wettables gets hit with a Nitro. Miracle manages to find a second. The challenge is going to come in top Square, and it's going to be successful. June managing to pick up Brendo, and all of a sudden, this attack has fallen apart for Bliss. But coming back to that point of, like you said, the Monty on his own, who's going to get the kills there? Monty's having to risk dropping the shield. He's having to make the challenge himself. Not ideal setup from Bliss this round.
And we're 3 rounds in almost now, at the point of completion for just a couple more players to go down. They've found themselves 4 kills, and it's not always about kills, of course, but when you're not able to win many of these gunfights, that starts to suggest a bit of a problem that needs to be sorely figured out. Fisher by himself, as Oda now hits the deck, got to do it against 5, and sadly, I don't really think that's going to be the outcome they're looking for. An early tack timeout maybe to reset things here, because this game just feels completely out of control for the side of Bliss.
Yeah, I would be calling one if I was the Bliss coach right now. Because I think you mentioned it very early on in that round there, Derry. The key word was overcomplicating. Because normally, like I say, they were trying to do both attacks at once, the default attacks onto the top floor. If you're going to do the lobby attack with the Monty, you have to have Kanto wall opened up and players on the rappel that can help people help the Monty. You have to have a player behind the Monty. It requires at least 4 and then a backstab from Square. You can't have all 4 players playing Square in your Monty.
If anything, they got it flip reverse. They got it the wrong way around. It was like the Monty backstab from Spiral, but it's never going to work.
It's yeah, and again, normally if you're then doing the top Square take and the stock take, you have players playing windows. But if you try and do both together, there's holes in both sides, and that's ultimately where Bliss came apart, basically. And that's, I think, when you take the timeout now, as they are in the timeout, the coach will just be telling them, calm down, keep it simple. It's like literally my favourite saying.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
I saw you had something else for your end before when I heard you say it last week.
What?
He says it wasn't stupid at the end of that acronym, it was something else. I think someone said silly or something, and I was like, that's soft. Use the word stupid.
Okay. I would say keep it simple, stupid. But it really is, and you know, we've seen it in a lot of teams. I'm going to reference BDS last game. It's all they kept saying to each other was keep it simple, play together, and we're not seeing that from Bliss so far.
And not forgetting as well, yes, both teams like this map and our second map, but this is Bliss's pick. When we go into Border, that's where Secret really want to have their showdown. A map we haven't seen them win. I think it was in like 400 plus days. It's been a long time, but a map they're still very, very keen to get onto and show what they can do on it. So I worry for Bliss here. If this carries on in this half and we just see Secret come into it with a 6-0, a 5-1 lead, this could be a very, very quick 2-0.
Can I just do some quick maths on that? 400 plus days would be around, I believe, SI 2023?
Yeah.
SI Quals 2023? 2023. If I remember rightly, when that Team Secret, and it was obviously
413 days ago against Heroic was in their last one.
There we go, against Heroic.
3rd of April.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay, so just after SI.
Stage 1 last.
Secret made SI off the back of Border, and I know that was a different team, but it was, you know, it was still Twister, it was still Savage, it was still Grubby on that team. There's still fragments of that team kicking around in this team, so they've always been a great Border team. That was ultimately my point.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Well underway then, into the action phase. Going to be attacking onto basement again here. Time was a big factor for Bliss. The last time they did this back in round 1, they ended up having to rush in for that deep plant. They didn't deal with server effectively or efficiently enough, losing players on blue stairs when they really shouldn't have done. This time they're shaping up a little bit differently. I like this from Brendo. They've recognised that servers is clear. Get in there, grab the ground. He can now do the intel work. He can now do those other jobs whilst the top floor clearance is on until they secure with Square, and then they can start the push towards the plant.
It's kind of curious because he's in here on the Thermite, but neither of the server walls are reinforced. Obviously, because Secret are using all of those walls upstairs for their roam. I'm kind of curious as to whether site hatch is reinforced or open. If it is actually reinforced, then a half clear could very much be possible. Yeah, we see the hallway hatch is open, but the site hatch is reinforced. And I'm not surprised to see that Bliss might be going for what's called a half clear. You've got Sage on the Thatcher. He's up in top square, holding up all the flanks. Wet's going to try and cut off the rotate, and then you're going to have the guys, the rest of the team on Team Bliss, just go for server and just try and plan. And they're protected by the fact that they can't be held from the defenders that are roaming.
Cover me. I was a bit big a second ago as to who plays a lot of ace actually for the side of Bliss. Not forgetting that ban came through, felt very targeted against Bliss. And it was Brendo and Wettables. Brendo being their top performer. Here he's stuck on the Thermite as well. Very different to be playing in this spot. You know, he's still got those collective thermos he's got to make use of as well. I wonder if a degree of it's just discomfort out of what they're normally familiar with. They say that and he still lands a nasty shot on the Thermite. Not going to complain about that. But maybe that's also playing into how this game is going. Doom really lighting this up as well. 6-0 now, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, Bliss are doing much better here. They've managed to grab a bit of ground. They have the man out in garage, but Wettables has now been taken down. That's really big, but that is then equally unfortunate for Secret. They managed to take the man out of garage, giving them that freedom of sight back again, and then suffer a team kill. Really not what they were looking for. Fisher Guy just trying to create the space now to get in and have a look at getting that diffuser down. There's no denial on the side for Secret, so nothing that they can do about it from a distance. They're going to have to go in here and find physical gunshots in order to stop this plant going down.
Find the one that at least Brendo steps around. Forget what I said about the Thermite. He's found himself 2 in the round, and Otter with the close as well. Good 3-man cover off the back of that defuse going down, and actually the first comfortable round for Bliss.
As you said, Fresh, much more simple. It's what we do in ranked, essentially. The old half clear and get it down in server.
But it's comparing.
So see you in the next tournament then, Tim, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You don't even want to hear how Tim one-tapped Roy Boy.
You asked Roy Boy about that. You asked BDS beating Roy Boy about that.
But I will just say, the compare and contrast, the very round 1, the first round of this game, where they full cleared, they cleared the top floor, the mid floor, ran out of time, and ultimately lost the round 2 time, compared to this, where they're executing with over a minute to go, because all they've worked out, in terms of Bliss, they worked out if we take top square and we take server, that is 2 rooms. All right, top square is a very big room, but if we take 2 rooms, we can then execute on site because Secret setup allows us to do that. They kept it simple, stupid. They won the round.
It reminds me of Virtus Pro a lot, where it's not about controlling massive parts of the map. It's taking what you need and making do with that. And so often, as we've seen, they do make it work, even when it looks like so much of the map can be stacked against them. But for Bliss, we're showing that tack timeout at least had an impact. They are keeping it simple. They've got a round on the board. It's not going to be a full car crash half what you might come to expect. The question now is how many can they get from the next 2? Can they bring it up to a 3-3? Or does Secret still keep that dominant scoreline come the end of it?
Round 5 then, we're going to get ourselves underway, and it's going to be switching sides, moving on to open area. Secret deciding, you know what, that was a little bit too easy for Bliss then. So let's switch things up and just try to maybe complicate matters a little bit. Last time Bliss didn't play into the roam. Secret had to abandon a lot of the utility that they placed up on the top floor, drop down and just take the fights laterally, which was fine for them, it worked out. This time, it looks like Bliss might just be playing into that a little bit more.
Adrian with the late mirror window going down as well. I can't imagine it's a setup thing to still be going at 2:30. More trying to understand exactly where the attack might be coming in from, but has dropped it down, I believe, inside of sight.
I mean, I think it comes down to
on the wall between sides.
On the position that I would call Kansan. I don't know if that's the international.
Yeah, it's where he got his 1v4.
But it's where he got the 1v4 against D plus K, or down 1 Kia at the time, actually. So Secret have done actually a slightly different strategy. Both teams are adapting here. Secret have chose to reinforce some of the hatches, and they're executing what I would call a loose roam, which is where you have the people up there, but you don't have the utility. You fall back to the utility in sight. And the idea here isn't actually to win or lose the round upstairs, it's to waste the time and then win or lose the round back down nearer to site.
Sage is just seeking across that top floor at the minute, looking to see if he can find anybody, but just moving with a lot of caution here to say there's nobody ahead of him. It just makes me wonder how much intel Bliss have got in their hands at the minute and how much they know about what's happening.
We are in a zoo, gentlemen.
This is what we love about the Swiss stage. There's so many games going on, so many.
I don't even know what team it is.
June's going to find Sage on up through that vertical, and that's beautiful stuff. Basically, Sage has wandered around the top floor for a minute and a half there. Not really sure if anybody's there to challenge him or not, and ultimately gets killed from below.
That was Cyclops.
Oh, it was Cyclops. They need to get some pretty quick vertical done here. That mirror window inside of the kitchen, he's going to basically stop any push through from Tellers. As you can see, Oda is throwing a smoke at the mirror window. The one thing to keep an eye out on here is Grubby on the Oryx. He might be able to get a flank up using the Oryx ability to go up the hatches. We see him inside the elevator here. He might still be able to go up and find flanks.
Right sort of idea, but obviously when that team is flying back the other way, they know what's going on. Yeah, not going anywhere just yet. They can always drop himself down if needs must. Work his way back up towards blue, where June is still currently waiting, looking for what he can do. But Brendo's going to start his march on forward here. In he goes in towards admin, staring in towards sight. By a matter of pixels, not seeing the man towards his right, but finds his Kansan man. Still one more, though, sat on the bomb chassis that I don't think he's aware of. But in comes Otto with one as well. A kill back the other way. It's a 3v3 with 30 to go.
And this is it. They need to move in and get aggressive now. That's exactly what they're going to do. Oda manages to pick up Adrian. Jume's taking damage as well, but 3v1, effectively 2v1 as Brendo is down. But Jume has got so much work to do here, but he only needs to hold on for 10 seconds. This is definitely winnable, but no, as he moves across, has a look through the softwall. Wettables is there, ready and waiting, snaps the jaws shut, finds the final kill, and Bliss get themselves a second defense.
Good start as well. I mean,
rather.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And after that, tack timeout, like we keep saying, tack timeout diff.
Yeah, tack timeout diff. I think, obviously, Team Secret had a change in strategy there. They chose to try and reinforce the site with those mirror windows, but they played some kind of, I would say, fluid ops, what am I trying to say? Fluid ops, in terms of the Mozzie, the Oryx, to try and play a bit more gunfight heavy in the C4s. What that left them was the fact that the mirror window had no protection in the form of a Jaeger or a Wamai. So as soon as that mirror window inside of kitchen was ash charged, it left a big gaping hole into the office, which was basically the walk-in sight that Sage managed to find. And that was the opening that he managed to find. So I think Bliss have been able to find the kind of holes in Secret strategies now 2 rounds in a row, as Secret have adapted them.
You also watch Oda go a little bit nuts there, admittedly, walking a 3K. Just keep speaking about these DMRs. They're more than just bringing down these armor barriers. Also pretty good for bringing down operators at the same time. Also gets the plant down towards the end of the round, or very nearly gets it down. But again, another very convincing round. Secret are the ones who've got to figure something out here. I don't think they'll be too beat up at going 3-3, but it does start to show that actually this isn't quite the rollover that it looked like when we saw Secret take their 3rd round at the start of this game.
Setup still going on into the action phase, given how widely Secret are trying to defend, essentially. We've seen this repeatedly with the reinforcements up on the top floor, just trying to force Bliss to play into them, but they haven't always played that game. They haven't just done everything Secret's way. Jume up in Janitor for the time being. He is going to come under pressure if he's not careful, because even on a half clear, this is going to be a key area. This is where you're trying to prevent players from moving back and hitting you at the top of square.
Ooh. This should be a trigger point now. So Savage has got the kill. It's a 5v4. This is a trigger point for Jume, and for the rest of the team, you'll see them, the Scarper, and then getting themselves down hatches, back down to site, because you can win this site 5 versus 4. There's no reason to stay up on the top 2 floors. And basically, they also have this redundancy inside of the clash here on the server stairs, basically for the late round to waste more time. So not only are the 5v4, they now have a time advantage, because Miracle can just be very annoying on this server stairs ultimately and waste loads of time up there.
Adrian's just going to be holding his position for the time being. Drone rolls past, and Quite smartly, Adrian doesn't move. He's not going to give his position away with sound. I'm not sure that this corner has been drawn out, and it could be a big, big punishment and a lesson to be learnt for Bliss here as they come running in. They've not a clue. It's a freebie for Adrian. Can he find himself a second? Yes, he can. Absolutely beautiful double. Beautiful trigger discipline. Adrian doing everything he needs and getting back to site. Great play for Secret.
I was about to say that this is either going to be a play that you praise or criticize. Had Adrian had died there, the round's back in contention. But he was banking on the fact that they would bestron him.
Nice to step up for Miracle here as well before he gets trapped in by the fire, and Wedables has got it all to do in a 1v5. Really a game one, I think, off on the roam, that aggression that we've seen even from round one from Secret, realistically. Yeah, looking back at Savage, back when he was upstairs very early on in the Azami, of course, dying out, but it's carried on all the way through to this last round here as well. The C4 kill to start things out. The kind of like bait fallback, and they thought everyone had gone back towards site, but one player left out there, and Adrian has done enough damage there to get this one closed out, without the site ever really being a point of consideration. I know it is now, but it's a 1v5. Wedables can try it all he likes, but Secret would be absolute fools to throw this one away.
Yeah, it's another one of those rounds where I use that metric that I've spoken about a few times, where it's like, how bothered were the players inside? And the realistic answer there was not at all. They were able to sit hands off the keyboard realistically.
Is that your metric, a measure of bother?
Yeah, just a measure of how bothered were the players inside? Not at all. They didn't have to move. They weren't disrupted. Bliss never really got anywhere near.
Got a little half-time from Jesse as well. Let's pull him in. Jesse, what you got for us?
How's it going, guys? Yes, I wanted to jump in right here at halftime to talk a little bit about the Kaid ban that we see coming out from Secret. Yesterday, when Secret played this map, they ended up banning the Valkyrie on defense. Today, they switched that up, banning the Kaid, and it makes a lot of sense because Team Bliss love Kaid on this map. They used it 3 times yesterday when they played on Bank. Wedables loved playing it down inside of the basement when we saw him putting it on the server hatch and on the CC hatch, and then we saw Sajin playing it non-stop on the top floor to keep that Kanto wall closed. So I want you to pay attention to a few things in this upcoming half. Number 1, what is Wedables playing down in the basement? Number 2, what is Sajin playing when they defend the top floor? And number 3, are they gonna abuse the Valkyrie? Now that it's open and available, will they be able to work that into their defenses?
Thank you very much, Jesse. You may well do so. We spoke a bit about both of those bans as well. The Ace earlier on, trying to unsettle Wedables and Brendo.
Oh, I love that.
What I say to a degree, mission accomplished, maybe not quite, but the Kai could never be a factor in it. What do you love?
I love the mirror window in server facing into site. I absolutely love it. Obviously, because there's an ace ban, you are then going to play the Thermite. I think they've popped the mirror window as well, right? Oh my god, there's a lot going on there. I think they've popped the mirror window, but it's to stop the Thermite charge basically being placed on because you can just shoot it off from site.
Probably you see the kind of patchwork done before sometimes, right? Same sort of vibe.
As it is, though, Gruber is going to bring along the Hibana rather than the Thermite, so that could be the answer there. You can obviously just then position those pellets, but it takes that choice out of your hands, really, and really forces you. He's trying to get aggressive behind the Monty here. Miracle just trying to bully his way into server, but needs to be very careful here, given that he's down to half health and he's going to be an important part of this push to come through.
It's facing the reverse. Surely they just shoot it out as they step through, though. Like, it's not a big problem in that case. If nothing else, you can use it on your side if you want to open up the left-hand wall instead and use that as your plant, especially when you're looking with a Monty on side, right? You can use it to your advantage.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of teams do that. They'll use either a Monty or an Osa to open up the far wall, as you say, the left-hand wall, however you want to call it, and then plant behind the shield. And that plant spot is really difficult to retake as a defender, to be fair. Yeah.
Miracle has been pinned back for the good, like, what, nearly 60 seconds now. They've only used one smoke to do it, but he's already found himself down to 40 HP, has been starved out for that amount of time. This is a really good kind of delay and pushback on the side of Bliss.
It was a nice rotation from Team Secret, though. I think they wanted to do something quite fast, quite server direct, and they've realized there was a lot of utility and a lot of investment in there. If there's a lot of utility and investment into server and site, that means the gap is up above. There has to be a gap somewhere else, and they've gone and converted this into a full clear. However, that first 40, 50 seconds, as you say, might come back to bite them in the late round if there's a lack of time for the plan. Oh, Kapkan's were pinged.
I was going to say he was in health territory for a C4 kill, but Kapkan's almost did the job. He now is literally a slither away from death.
Savage pinged them.
He's now paper. He is no longer the mountain. That's the best way to think about it.
He's now in the danger zone for a sneeze rather than Nitro, to be honest. There's anything's going to take down Miracle, and looking across there, 2 Nitros still on side, 1 for Brendo and 1 for Order, so need to be very careful. As I suggested, the Hibana is going to come in and just open up around that mirror window. They can use a little bit of the breach that it creates itself to make sure that there is room to go in and do that. And right now, Secret are getting themselves ready. They're positioned on the hatches. The utility's there ready to go. This is going to be a 3-2-1, and then it's going to be a push, attack, get kills, and plant.
And we've got the call available from Adrian as well. None of those yet used, and I imagine as part of the execution should be a pretty big part of it, but still for now, staying in back pocket. Joom slowly being burnt to a crisp here. Gets himself away, but chased down by Wettables, who capitalized on the back of it. Sage has been flashed out a couple of times down here, but not too beat up about it. Miracle not being taken out by that C4, so the only one really remaining now is Oda. Can anyone stop this?
Miracle is going to get in and get that diffuser down. Can he stick this? Ruby manages to get a kill on the cover, but no, he's taken out in the absolute nick of time by Bliss. They find 2 more, and Bliss hold on. It was an attempt by Secret, that's for sure, managing to maneuver the Monty on in there to put the case down, but they just didn't have enough cover. Bliss had already done their work with the couple of kills they'd found.
Some huge mistakes there from Team Secret. The first one was misreading the play. They wanted to do a direct, but they were going to fall foul if they did a direct. Converted it to a full clear, sure. But what happened? Adrian did not use his Dokkaebi calls at all in the round. It's like he forgot utility exists. And I know Adrian's a better player than that. But what happened as well? Joom pushed before the rest of the team were going to push. He was down the main stairs in fire, look at him, and that's the opening kill. That means there's no pressure on the defenders. Fisher's hit a nice shot there, by the way. What I was expecting from Team Secret that round is I was expecting Dokkaebi call, Joom, Adrian, Grubby, push deep, get in the face of the defenders, and the plant goes down from the Monty because they can't throw utility at the Monty if they've got a Joom and an Adrian in the face. But that isn't what Secret executed, so Bliss were just there to take a completely free round.
We spoke about this quite a bit during the PSG Talon and BDS game as well, is that BDS, everything is so tightly timed. Like, every move they make, it's always as part of a team. It's very rarely an individual actor doing his own thing, and that's where PSG Talon were losing a few fights, was they were always half a second behind time. They were a couple of seconds out on a C4. Small little things like that make a difference, and here, as you said, like, they had all the tools to get that done, but a couple of mistakes on timing and who's moving when is what's really come out and cost them there. But take nothing away from Fisher Guy, by the way. 3 massive kills that he's sourced there. Given he was 0-5 before that as well, he's just dragged his team straight back into it, and now there's a real competitive game starting to form.
Wettables as well, showing that Kaid ban not having the big impact that maybe Secret had hoped. Down on the basement, played Fenrir instead, and it was a job that they still managed to get done even without that electrification and denial. So up to the top floor we go this time around, and we're going to have Adrian immediately on that Hibana looking to get Cantor wall open. So, you know, a little bit more of what we expected last time. Miracle on the Monte, so we'd imagine we're going to have a lobby push.
Exactly, and I just wanted to highlight that. When Jesse did the call in at the halftime and he talked about the Cade ban, obviously it's relevant for hatches on the bottom floor, but it's relevant for that Cantor wall on the top floor. If the Cade is banned, it becomes very, very easy to open the Cantor wall. I would imagine there's a mute jammer on it, but it's as simple as throwing a nade up and bouncing the nade to get rid of that mute jammer. What that enables is a lobby push with the Monty. If Cade's in play, it actually becomes very difficult to do the lobby push with the Monty, and you kind of force into a windows/square take. So Secret, with that ban, are actually giving themselves options on the attack as well.
Fairly identifying here that it's likely to be a Valkyrie. If anyone else roaming out and about around the map, can confirm that Sage is still upstairs hanging around long desk, so not too much of a bother for them around the map. The thought of Joom as well, with how well he was playing this tournament, running around with that Vendetta in itself is quite a terrifying prospect. But he's very much keeping himself busy out towards that side of the map. I think joined up out there by Groovy, who's currently playing off on Windows as well, looking to get himself involved. A slow start for the side of Secret, and I can't help but be slightly nervous about the timer as we get towards those last.
Yeah, here comes the nade. Savage is throwing it now. This should have happened, in my opinion, at least a minute ago.
Going to get that open up now. The X-Karos pellets will detonate. The player in elevator had actually already moved, and there is going to be a bit of space for Miracle to move on up. Ruby created even more by taking down Order, and that's going to be some Kiba barricades going along the way as well that now will not charge, will not be available with the Azami losing the life tube. Just looking for these long angles at the minute. It's going to be Savage though from top marble.
Caught him out there. Wettables still going. Brenda off the back of it as well. Down to a 3v3. 3 quick kills out of seemingly nowhere. But the side of Bliss, the Fisher guy is tearing them a new one. There's one left standing, and Joom, he's had a great game so far, but to bring it back 1v3 here might be a step too far. One hanging out towards his right-hand side. Another off towards the left, but they are giving him nothing. I'll say that's him. They've given it across to him. It's one man left. Vendetta's out, sees his man, can't quite find him. Joom has pulled out a 1v3.
Joom is just that guy. He has that raw.
Check. Is Tim still alive?
Tim, are you alive?
I am. I had a little bit of an issue. I don't know, I just nearly choked in the middle of the sentence there. I don't know.
Well, don't worry, you choked just as badly as they did. It's all right.
That was nearly a double choke, by the way, because Secret had that hand in their round. That hand in their round. No, they had the round in their hands. That's exactly what they had. A 5 versus 3. They had the lobby take coming in. They had backstab pressure from Square. They had main stairs pressure from Savage as well. And it was everything. Big then pocket of aggression comes out from Team Bliss. Managed to get it back, and Doom was picked up when, you know, we go back all the way when Fabian took him into Delta Project. If we want to go back that far.
Don't start that again.
No, but what Doom knew then was how to shoot. The reason he was doing so well in FPL and all those types of things was his mechanical, just raw ability to play gunfights and play the FPS side of this game. He then got taught all the strategy, the communication, all that kind of soft skill side of Siege. But in those situations, who would you rather have there than Doom? And he's gone absolutely nuclear with that clutch.
It just goes to show as well, you know, that defensive utility can work for you as well as against you.
Yeah.
There, the keeper barricade, it just shows the feet before he moves across. Doesn't have an opportunity to challenge back. It's perfect for Doom.
I was so surprised he moved into that position, to be honest, because playing behind that keeper barrier was maybe what he thought was very smart, because I'm playing behind the utility, but like you say, his feet were in show. So, you know, not ideal.
Difficult circumstances for Bliss. They've now got that 2-round gap re-established. Tim, we always talk about round 9 and just how important it was. BDS didn't care for the round 9 curse. They lost it. They were down 6-3, managed to win 3 to bring it back to overtime before they ultimately went on to lose. But we say it's such a big one because if you win this round as Secret, 6-3, a 3-round deficit, you don't expect Bliss to recover that. They win this round, they're back to 1-round striking distance of Secret, and things then start to feel really ropey going into those final few rounds. So the winner of this one, for my money at least, takes the map.
Yeah, it's just such a big swing. It's like, you know, 1 round versus 3 rounds is a huge, huge difference in Siege, especially against a team like Secret. They've got the players on side that as soon as they get 3 rounds in a row, I would expect them to just be getting it locked down. There's not going to be much messing about from them. Now then, for the time being, a little bit of maybe not paying enough attention to detail there, Fresh. Just sending the Hibana pellets in, not aware of the player in stock.
I told you Doom was good at the gun skill. Maybe not the utility.
You can't count 2, 4, what that last number is, I'll just fire it. Nah, but at least now they know there's someone hanging around. Flashes are going in towards him, and Savage has really tried to make a little bit of a ballsy play happen there. In fact, the whole team did. And 3 of them suddenly completely closed out. This is Bliss's round for the taking, surely. Oh, Groovy and June, the last 2 left alive, though. I just look at that and just think, yeah, there's every chance this is still winnable.
It's going to be a lot of work for them, though. Wetable's up on the top floor. He's looking for more challenges because he knows that that's where the push from Secret is going to be coming across from. Grubby moves across, tries to get himself to elevators, but exactly what I was saying. Wetable's is well ready for this. Nice and easy. Picks up his man, and that leaves Duke out.
Oh, dear.
You're joking.
In a 1v4 with a diffuser that I don't think he's going to be able to plan.
I've never seen that before. I do best. I shoot. Off he goes.
Well, he got 1v3. Why would he not try a 1 versus 4? Gets the first one out there on
high though, man. Like, he might get a couple off it, but it doesn't matter. Oh, well, they know. They definitely know. Couldn't quite find him. Brendo's got his number in that round. So cooked.
I think what Secret tried there was a collapse from, I'm not going to say the words, but a collapse from lots of split positions onto the top floor.
Doki said it yesterday.
Did he?
I
Okay.
to punch him.
In terms of they were trying to go Skylight, they were trying to go in Square, they were trying to go in Stock, they were trying to repel in CO, all these places at the same time, with the idea being is that if we all go at the same time, there are less than 5 defenders up there out on the roam, somebody will find a gap and we clear the roam. We lose a couple of lives for it, but we find the gap. As it was, Bliss were ready for that in 3 of those key locations, especially that main stairs Skylight drop location, punish them. From there on out, it's a 5v2. You know, it's you're never really winning them consistently.
Tap time out for Secret. We said how important round 9 might just be, and that might be enough for Bliss to start getting themselves back into it. But I think quite consistently across the last couple of days, Tim, we've seen real strong impact from tap timeouts. Teams have just then carried on rolling from that point forward until another tap timeout came through, or the game was done. So maybe we see Bliss do something a little bit magic here. Maybe they keep it going and we get towards yet another overtime.
We've seen loads of comebacks, to be fair. It truly is a major where it feels like anybody can beat anybody. And, you know, we're saying that after a day where PSG Talon have beat BDS, VRX beat G2 to knock them out of the
East Coast
tournament.
almost beat FaZe.
You know, this is it. FaZe almost lost at the same time today. And it's just, it is one of them tournaments where I don't even want to use the term like the sort of lower teams in terms of seeding or expectation. I don't really want to use that because everybody just seems to be on such a close playing field.
I think if you look at it, actually, a lot of the teams qualified to this major were maybe unexpected in every region.
Yeah.
Beast Coast, E1, you know, even
ITB, arguably.
ITB, Secret, PSG Talon. You know, realistically from Korea, we had D+ and Fear X for the longest time as being the two teams.
Yep.
So there's a lot of teams that are new to the major format, which is actually, there's a couple of elements to that. Is one, it gives a lot of opportunity for people to be expressive and just come onto the scene and just make their mark on it. But it also gives a lot of opportunity for victories for teams that you might not necessarily see as well.
Well, there comes the Bandit. I keep saying Bandit. Honestly, I see yellow every time. The Blitz. It's the Bees, I think, that get yellow.
No, I get Bliss and Bleed mixed up all the time as well.
We all have had curses. For me, it's the Bandit and the Blitz. The Blitz on side here as well. We spoke a lot about the Bandit. Let's say it again. The Blitz that we've seen here for all along.
We just told you.
I'm just going to say it for the laugh now, honestly. The Bandits on side here because they want to go nice and direct. They want to be rushing in. Really good when you've got a roamer isolated somewhere out. You want to really kind of pincer it on them here. Enough players on side alongside the DKB, the Deimos as well. They really can punish anyone that's playing off site in too much isolation. And knowing that we saw Secret playing a very heavy roam game, I think quite fairly they've assumed, all right, we expect Bliss to have 1 or 2 players out around the map somewhere that we can punish.
We'll keep a close eye on that Bandit, Des.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah,
I don't know why it gets me so much. But
to be honest, we've seen a lot of Blitz players so far at the major, but I don't know how much impact we've seen a few. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's never worked out, but we've also seen a lot of defensive teams be very capable of dealing with it.
I think there's 2 benefits to the Blitz. The first benefit is, like Derry says, where you can go and do a full clear on the Blitz. But the second benefit is, as you're executing, you can just put the Blitz, because obviously it's a bit more mobile than the Monty. You can put the Blitz in the face of the defenders that stop them focusing on the execute and on those plants going down. So I wonder if that's what Savage is going to do, is as and when the plant and the execute's coming down, there might be Doom, as you see, opening up the back hatches for a backstab, but then the Blitz will just be causing absolute chaos in the back line of Team Bliss.
At least for now, with the hatches open up, that prep work is done, down to that last 75 seconds or so. We've already seen the Fenrir causing a bit of bother throughout this game as well. Vertables no doubt looking to do the same to them once it starts coming around to the execute. Smokes in back pocket for Savage as well, of course, incredibly powerful right now. Everyone who speaks to will tell you. Smokes want to have on side at this point. It's where you see a lot of Capital so far throughout the competition. Big thing for me as well, Adrian, don't forget to phone home this round.
Still got 2 Dokkaebi calls.
For now.
Miracle manages to pick up Sage. Absolutely beautiful little one.
Hey!
There we go. We've got a Dokkaebi call. Adrian remembers that utility this time. And he's also going to take that important key position in Garage. You're going to see why in a minute. That's the line of sight that you want. Just cutting the site in half. Gets a bit of intel as well. Sprays through into red. Adrian needs to keep himself alive here and take attention because Savage is going in meanwhile. He's got that shield on his back and he's getting the diffuser down. He's going to stick it. Great plant from Secret, Des.
And goes so deep as well, so it doesn't matter what comes out in there. It could be C4s, it could be smokes. They're not going to find their target. And really, for me, Adrian, the difference maker here, kept them under so much pressure. Inside of red, inside of sight, nothing they can do about it. And now every Bliss player's like, yeah, let's get up there and go for it. But guess who they've got to run into? It's Doom, the raid boss. He finds 2. Won't quite manage to find the 3rd, but I feel at this point, he's caused enough disruption that for these last 2 players, they can hold on here.
Yeah, you can go for the pickup there, but you're just wasting another 5 seconds, and I don't think manpower's really the issue because you've got 1 above, 1 below. It's going to be so difficult to clear out. Wetables, he's just battling now, trying to find an exit frag, but that's all it's going to be because there's no time on the board to get it done. Round closed out, Grubby manages to find the kill, and that is going to be Team Secret taking themselves on to map point.
That position that Adrian played inside of Garage, on the back of the ambulance that cuts that site in half, as you say, I think is one of the best positions that an attacker can play in Siege. Because there's very few positions as an attacker where you can completely cut the site in half and the defenders have no chance to retake it other than going up the main stairs or killing Adrian or going up the main stairs. Obviously, Doom had that unlock as well. As long as those 2 key power positions were in place, the plant was always going to go down. And I think, yeah, the choice of plant location as well, as you say, with the smokes, the Blitz forcing his way in with the shield to get to a off-plant location, got the round done for Secret. They were always seeing it out, even though it looked a little bit hairy, 3v5, because of the retake.
Let's go then. Moving on to round 11. Team Secret on the attack and looking to close things out. It's going to be the top floor for them this time around. Didn't go too well last time on the attack of top floor overall. They were able to get the win, but it came down to that clutch from Doom at the end. And it was a tough finish for them. The plan didn't really come together perfectly. It was a little bit scrappy.
Yeah, especially they also tried the Monty take on the lobby side. They're not playing the Monty this time. They're playing the IQ, Lion, Dokkaebi, and the Deimos. So I'm actually wondering if they're going to play maybe a little bit more windows, maybe more square side, rather than trying to focus on clearing out the lobby and walking up the lobby with the Monty particularly.
Did you have it on your bingo card at all that Secret might be the first team to qualify for our quarterfinals? I
did not. I actually gave a prediction for the Jake and Gus podcast where I said I thought Secret would get overwhelmed this event because what we'd seen inside of EUL was a lot of pocket strategies to get them over the line in best of ones. We hadn't seen a lot of default play. We hadn't seen a lot of adaptations, which is actually something that we're seeing inside of this major so far from Secret.
I mean, beating FaZe and DZ as well. There's certainly no mean feat, right? Yeah. It's beat the best to be the best.
If they get it, they've beaten 3 teams that we see at every single event.
Absolutely, yeah. Would definitely be one hell of a turnaround from what we saw back in the UL, and hopefully it continues onwards. Still, this could be our last round, as we mentioned a couple of times. Bliss have got to find themselves 2 on the bounce to really make this one happen. But now at least Secret getting themselves squared up, as we've seen so many times. And the thing is now I'm less worried about the clock. A few times we said, okay, we're coming down to the last 60. They're not really anywhere near sight just yet. They're still doing all their prep work. They've still managed to make an execute happen, even if it is, as you guys say, a little bit chaotic in those dying moments.
Brendo, I was just going to pick up on, he's still in a key location. They haven't dislodged him yet. He's in stock corridor, and we know from that position you can completely close down that stock and square-sided push. They've opened up Kanto Wall, they've got Doom on marble stairs, but he's playing it smart. He's not overextending into the corridor, he's keeping himself safe, and he's a real problem at the minute, Fresh.
And this is where that ace ban goes to fight them, though. However, Doomy's going to walk up the main stairs, but will get traded back out.
Still, Adrian's here as well to pick up the pieces off the back of that, and of course he goes nuts. Spin twin number 2 is starting to fire off, and Secret have got one more kill to find. It's Fisher Guy inside of Janitor on the mirror for them to take this first map and go into their pick of border. The last call, potentially in back pocket still here. Actually, we've got an E1D. We've got a call. Adrian, hit the button, my man. Make this one a little bit easier, but he's got it, and he's found the knife to close. A 3K to close things out on map 1. They go at 1-0 in this series.
Don't worry about the phone call, Des. I think Thatcher would say something about those electronics. Instead, go in with the steel and get the job done. Adrian closing it out, as you say. Map 1 going Secret's way, and a great start from them.
And he's not just getting the job done. He's getting the job done on your opponent's map pick. That's the one that you're supposed to lose. That now puts an incredible amount of pressure on Bliss, because Secret are supposed to win their map pick of border that's coming up next. If they win that, obviously they're through all the way to the main stage.
But as you said, both of these teams like border, so which way this goes, time will have to tell. For now, let's head over to the desk where Ginny's with the guys to break this one down.
Hello, Ginny here, and the other guys, Jesse and Max.
The other guys.
Insane.
But, okay, listen, we're happy, we're excited. Secret getting the map pick, which isn't even theirs. This is what Bliss picked. This is what Bliss felt comfortable with. This is what Bliss saw and said, yeah, we can take them to bank. We can take this off their hands. We can put ourselves in the driver's seat, but that's no longer the case.
You know, the biggest problem with having bank up is leaving Joom inside the map, because he was a thorn already showing on his previous bank, and now going to this map specifically, I mean, he had some clutch plays, he had some amazing plays, and Joom just is an up-and-comer anyways, and the fact that he's putting out this performance and consistently, and now one step closer of getting to that main stage, it's truly impressive to be watching this kid play.
For sure, and I mean, we really did start off strong for Secret as well. Back-to-back-to-back rounds to open this game up, and I really thought it was just kind of classic Bliss slowness that we know from them from many international tournaments, from their regional play. They're a team who like to hit all the steps. They like to take their time with their clears, and they got a lot of opening picks. They were able to often find themselves a man count advantage in the early round, those first couple of rounds coming through, but then when they're executing with like 20 seconds remaining, they open the door for those clutches, and that really started things strong for Secret. I like the tactical timeout that came from Bliss. They did eventually start to turn that around, but a 4-2 half, and then as well that second half, their defense was on Bliss, just not quite strong enough.
Yeah, something going right, at least today, for EU, particularly after the match that we've seen after ITB, after BDS.
Yeah.
I think it's EU's time to shine, but I think as well when we're looking at Bliss, particularly, first of all, coming into this phase 2, they're already up to a 0. Not necessarily the expectations that they've had of themselves and that we've had of them. And then you're going up against a team like Secret on your own map pick. Unfortunately, it is a 7-4 for the side of Secret, but they've still shown up, and it's just a matter of cleaning up around some of their mistakes.
And that's the beauty of a best of 3 now, is you can really work out the problems, fix the mistakes you're going into your second map. Sure, you may not have won your map that you chose. We've seen it more than enough times in Siege that you lose the map that you should have won. Like, it happens way too often. But when you even look at that stat line for Bliss, everyone's relatively close to each other. That's still a team effort nonetheless. No one's really popping off. Sure, there's a 3 and 10 at the bottom, but still, everyone across the board is playing together. And again, you're in a best of 3 now. You can shake off. You can learn from your mistakes. So now you're going to bring it into Border, and I am confident Bliss can easily, you know, turn that back around.
Yeah, and particularly though when we're looking at the side of Secret, there was Joom that popped off.
Yeah, Joom, we saw it there, the first 1v3 round 1 to pop us off, and he really was playing fantastic. Not always an aggressive player, not always out there on the roam getting those opening picks, but on the site, wherever he needs to be, really massive. And it's not just the amount of kills, it's how they were happening. This clutch as well, beating out Wettables in the 1v1 after beating, I think it was a 1v2, 1v3 going into that situation. He was really, really good today. You see the DPS of 154, undoubtedly one of his best performances he's ever put up.
And that just further goes to show that regardless of the fact that Secret might not have necessarily have that much of experience when we're looking at them on that international stage, Bliss, we've seen him time and time and time again over the last years. They aren't afraid to come here and show up and show us what they're capable of, and they have a strong hold on those nerves.
No, you have to have a strong hold on those nerves. Like I said in the beginning of this whole show, is they beat FaZe, they beat Dark Zero. This was another best of 1. Now they just went further. But I mean, this still the performance that they keep putting on, it's consistent. And for a brand new team like this to have that consistency throughout the regular stage and now bring it to an international level, I mean, they have a really good shot at pushing it the distance.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the bans as well, of course, beating out FaZe by going to an unorthodox map for them, and now in this ban phase, yes, this was Bliss's map pick, but obviously it's one that Secret loved to play. So you force them with your own bans and with your own strategy to pick a map that you were really comfortable on. Now you're going to get to go to a map which you know they're not super comfortable on either. I think if you're Team Secret, you're looking really, really good in this series.
Absolutely, but also if you're Bliss, you're going to get a break, you're going to get a little breather, and we're also going to take a little break because we're going to be back with the next map of the series because this is a BO3 Border coming up next. And Secret is currently in the lead. 1-up in this BO3 match against Bliss. Welcome back, everyone, to the Manchester Major for R6. I'm Jeannie, joined with Jesse and Lax. And honestly, let's skip the introductions. Let's talk about Border, because Border is the map that's coming up next. And this is Secret's map pick, but they already got that 1-up.
Yeah, Mingaren's got to put his thinking hat on to nail this one. It's a map that Team Bliss historically haven't been the great at. 2 8-6 losses back at the 6th Invitational to both Space Station and Fury. This season, they've only run it once, but it was another 8-6 game against Odium in Australia. And yeah, it's a win, but when you're getting an 8-6 win against a team called Odium, I'm a little concerned about that.
Where's your hopium? Sorry, I'm going to see myself out.
All right.
I mean, what worries me is we were looking at their stat line that they were the best attacking team here. They obviously, that could be a little skewed from Bliss, but still, you're coming into Border now where you have to fight for power positions when you're on that attacking half. And if you looked at Border, their attacks weren't even remotely close to how Secrets were. They only won 2 attacks with those 2 defenses. And then again, Border's going to come down to power positions on both ends, whether you can hold those or whether you can gain those. And you were already struggling on bank with many of those different situations. So coming into this map, you have to learn those mistakes. You have to learn how to properly play these positions on Border and hopefully stop Secret or keep Secret in a position that allows you to take more success in those rounds.
I mean, they're all vibing.
They are, and they're going to need to vibe, because for Team Secret as well, this is not their most successful map. Their only play this season was a 7-5 loss to Into the Breach in the EUL semifinals. So I'm sure they've been cooking some stuff up. I'm sure they've been prepping, but they're really going to need to show up against Bliss today.
They will, and we're going to be heading straight into Border with Des Ace and Fresh on cast.
Thank you very much, Janine. Though we have assassinated Fresh during the break, so it's now just Tim and I for a Border showdown. Gunfights galore, and potentially our first team going through to the quarterfinals. Team of Secret take this one.
And I think that'd surprise a few people coming in. We know how good they are from EUL. We know that they can deliver, but as Fresh said himself, coming in here, we didn't know how they were going to stack up against that international competition, but it's looking like they maybe couldn't have done this any easier than they did. They've come in, they've got 3 wins, they're into the quarterfinals. It could be job done, Des.
It very well could be. We'll find out, of course, if this gets in. Already had our bans flying on through. Ying and Monty not really going to surprise anyone. 2 very go-to standard bans on pretty much any map. And looking back at the last time that Secret played on Border, it was against Into the Breach. They banned away Ying and Fenrir. So at least seeing different bans coming out of them, but they'll be happy to see Bliss taking away the Ying for them. Is Army going to follow through as our first defensive ban, and the Soul is the last one. So very much cookie-cutter bans this time around, rather than the target bans that we saw from Secret back on back.
I think, yeah, it doesn't surprise me too much on Border. Border is a pretty simplistic map compared to Bank. I don't think you necessarily need to worry too much about those kinds of specifics. You basically need to go in and you need to win a bunch of gunfights, take some ground, and you'll win the round, especially as the attackers. It's difficult for the defenders once the attackers get themselves established inside of the building here on Border. So that's going to be something that you see, is the defending sides trying to get aggressive up towards those barricades, up towards those boundaries, playing in places like security, for example, just trying to prevent any sort of ingress from the attackers, any sort of beachhead being developed, because that is when it becomes particularly dangerous.
All right, let's get things underway then. It's Bliss starting things out on the defensive side. In case you are curious, I think on every single side selection, both teams have picked defense. Yes, even here on Border, where teams would normally opt to start on the attacking side. It's one of those maps that if you asked anyone, what's the most attacker-sided map in the pool right now, they'd probably tell you it's going to be Border. However, for now, they're starting on that defense. Instead, Secret are the ones who've got to show us what they've got on this attacking side. And already, Tim, with their first lineup, I'm already excited by it. The Glaz we've seen a couple of times, not really used to great effect by any team, admittedly, often falling down early or simply just being rendered ineffective. But look at this, Wettables then, I was going to say, looked a little bit paralyzed by target selection. Too many bodies to try and hit, but at least the comm is there. Now, hey, there's 4 players on the east side of the map.
I don't think the Glaz is gone. I don't think the Glaz is going to have any effect.
It always happens. He's cursed, man.
In this round, Des. I think you were absolutely right to call that. I think ultimately there, yes. Come on, Secret. That's the oldest run out in the book on Border. Getting out from the top of these stairs. They did get the kill. They got the trade. That's fine. But all 4 of them just sort of tearing towards that door. They need to make sure that they're not falling foul or things like that. They've got the Osa shield over towards Archive side. It looks like the plant is going to be an attempt over that side. They can still do it. They've got the Capitao. The Kaz would have made it easier.
Oh dear.
But they can't keep losing men. and it can't keep being to that same east stairs door.
Just very much getting their pants cheesed off here, aren't they, Tim? It's looking difficult. Adrian was getting in below as well to help stop the C4 coming in above, but I think Miracle initially bolted over after losing about 30 HP to a goo mine, removes that, walks back up the stairs, and is sort of then deliberating again. Okay, what should I be doing next? Put himself in a precarious situation that Bliss are all too happy to capitalize on. They've got rid of arguably the two most important operators in this round, the Ossa and the Glaz. Secret are going to have to improvise on the fly here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one for them. But if you remember what I said only before the start of this round was, it's difficult for the defenders when the attackers get themselves established in the map. Bliss have recognised that, and they've done fantastically well. We'll give you a run out. We'll give you a peek out of East Door. They're not letting them get in the map. They're fighting them right up there, at the boundaries, at the barricades, just preventing them getting established. And at the minute, Secret haven't really had an answer to that. They're still barely inside of the map. They're, you know, just edging inside of the East Stairs doors. They're just not established.
And realistically, getting control, I think, of this side of the map is the right idea, given they've been stung out of that east stairwell, as we've seen before. It's almost like trying to assume that you can get away with just having the archives door and just having window available to make a plant. And sure, that's great, but you've got to have at least some awareness of what's going on in main hallway or on those east stairs. It's what paid the price for it. Sage is willingly cooking himself alive a little bit here in an attempt to try and have this gunfight on towards the top side of office. And sure enough, it's getting pushed in here again. Target selection is quite rich. Finds one, at least back the other way. 2 kills coming out of Fisher Guy, actually. Groovy completely shut out of this one. Not quite sure what he's doing down here. And if he fell through the hatch or was hoping that someone would come dropping down and collect them off the back of it. But he's got it all to do here on the Capital and simply not going to have enough to do. Bliss, a comfortable first round, admittedly off some very good early round aggression.
Yeah, I love that aggression from Brendo at the end there. We see the Gon 6 taking out the bulletproof Calm and bang straight behind it. There's an impact nade, there's a hole opened up, and there's a kill comes in to close the round out. Bliss get themselves the first defense. It's going to be 1-0. Secret need 2 things particularly. Pay attention at the beginning of the round. Don't be losing important operators like Glaz within the first 10 seconds. It's really not something you can be doing. Be aware of that, but also get yourself inside of the building. Decide where you're going to go, whether it's office, whether it's CCTV and security. Get yourself in there and get established. You've got to just go in and win that gunfight. Have the utility that you need to clear a half-wall position, for example. Push on in and start claiming some ground. If they can do that, they'll start taking some rounds. This time, they're going to be attacking downstairs. It's going to be ventilation and workshop, but we're going to see attention towards that top floor almost certainly to begin with. Reloading!
Yeah, Fence and Workshop, actually an interesting one. I was going to dig the stats up, but not really had time, to be fair. Look at the play rate of this compared to the other ones. I know that Bathroom has always been a very popular site, at least for the last year or so, as far as back I can remember. Blizzard's supply definitely down there, I think, is the least popular of all the sites. But Vents Workshop, I'd say, also sometimes not seen by some teams when they opt to go and play on this map. And as you say, that top floor is going to be a big point of control to start things out. Get that control and then look for a plant inside, because we spoke about this the other day, in case you're a little bit new to Siege. You know, why the top floor hold, why the control upstairs. If you aren't able to hold a site itself, you've got 2 options. Either you go above and hold it from there, or... Goodbye. It's not going to be long for this round, but either you go above a site and hold it from above, or you hold it laterally in rooms bordering or around the site. And in this case, it just makes so much sense to hold upstairs because there's so much soft flooring, and the rooms in proximity to the Vents Workshop sites, not particularly valuable. There's external facing windows, things like that, so the vertical hold is always going to make more sense. That then draws the attackers in to have to push into top floor and clear that out first.
Yeah, Bliss are looking really good here. As I said, it's just an understanding of that concept of do not let them in the map, fight them at any barricade that they try to come through. And right now, you can see it again. We're a minute into the round. Secret still don't have a foot inside of the map, Des, and that's becoming the big problem for them. They're stalling out every time they come to an entry point. Bliss have got the answer. Bliss have got a challenge going in against them.
Largely unbothered so far, and I think this is where Secret have kind of got to shake off the rust a little bit again. Last time they won this map was, what, 413 days ago, I think we said? Last played just over a month ago. One that's still high pref for them. When we say high pref, it means they very rarely ban it away. It's usually banned against them. Always been quite keen to play it, but very few teams really give them that opportunity. So far, though, Bliss showing that it's for them a second preference map. One that they're very, very comfortable to sit here and play into. Savage starting to knock on the door here, ask some questions of Otter, who hits the deck pretty much immediately, knows what's coming and just takes his skull right off. Almost gets the second as well, but Miracle at least secures the trade. This is good, though, for Bliss. They've got that numbers advantage. They can play the one-for-one game all day long.
Yeah, that's it, and they're going to come out on top as it is. You know, still not really inside of the map here, Secret. They've got Doom just outside of Office, but otherwise only just pushing into Armory and trying to work for that top floor clearance. Here come Adrian, Miracle. Ooh. Nitro goes in, not going to do the job. Miracle just about surviving there, but Bliss again have played it well. They've dropped away, they've not lost lives. Yes, they've given up the vertical, but now they can hold the crossfires down into sight. I think this is going to be a very difficult round for Secret to win from here.
If they manage to drag this one back over the line, it will be nothing short of a miracle, especially when he's down on 5 HP in this case. Might be some hot drops straight into form of the bulletproof cameras or straight into sight lines coming out from these defenders. At least one falls down here as Miracle starts out the killing as well. Doom into a second. Surely not, boys. Adrian's in. Plant is going down. A nice shot coming out of Sage, but he'll round the corner and finds Adrian as well. Strikes big with a 2K. And now Miracle really has got it all to do with just 10 seconds left on the clock. One outside, right sort of idea. The other above. This round is cooked. And Brendo with the closing kill. Bliss up 2-0.
Yeah, another good one from Bliss there. As I said, just again that same mentality of just making it so difficult. I think Secret are being a little bit indecisive as well. I kind of feel like at the minute you're struggling to get inside of the map. So security was empty for the longest time there. It might not be exactly where you want to go. It might not be exactly where you want to start, but when you've got a problem getting inside of the map, get in and take whatever ground you can and work from there. Border will pay you back if you do that. You're more likely to then go through and take Armory, for example, get into security, get into break, open up the 90 wall so you've got your angle towards art. You know, just do something to help you get into the final position you want to. At the minute, Secret are far too tentative about getting inside of the map.
A little bit of composure, I think, needed in this game, and in the same way that we said it on the previous map about Bliss when they found themselves down 0-3. When there's a tap timeout, come on through. When do you have that conversation? Admittedly, that round was better than the first. It's hard not to improve on someone being killed on the rip and then losing an Oscar in a really silly way out on that east balcony. So, yes, a minor improvement. If this round still looks quite dominant towards the side of Bliss, though, I would probably expect to see Secret have just a few moments to pause, reflect, to try and get some more rounds going here. Because, again, Takalini map have yet to find themselves around.
Brendo on the vigil, I think is a good play. Again, Bliss have been getting aggressive, they've been unpredictable, they've been getting up in the faces of Secret, not letting them in the map. So, yeah, let's make it even more difficult for him to track us down. Let us make it even more difficult for him to know where we're going to run out from, where we're going to peak from, where we're going to challenge them next. And that is, you know, something that, again, Secret may well struggle to deal with. We'll see. I'm just keeping an eye round by round on the attack here. How long does it take Secret to get in the map? How well do they establish themselves inside?
And how much time and attention does Brendo draw away here? Just a constant reminder for the players of Secret, hey, I am here, I am willing to sit these gunfights, I'm willing to challenge. And with 2 or 3 players having to divert their attention to try and deal with him, or at least keep him busy, it's all time that is wasting away, and of course not the easiest operator to burn out onto either. Right idea, but again, another reminder for Secret, he is here, and he's going to cause problems.
Just continuing to hold this long angle, and again, Secret kind of seem content to sit on the other side of that angle and just have a couple of pot shots back and forward, see if we can pick the man up as it is. Miracle takes a ton of damage. We're 1.5 minutes into the round and Brendo still hasn't been moved. He's still in this position and Secret not really inside of the map yet. Savage is the only one again who's working his way underneath at the minute across that ground floor, but otherwise really struggling to get themselves in.
And the utility and the drones they're having to burn for this is ridiculous, and Sage has gone and found himself for 2 with the run out from East Stairs. Tim, East Stairs is proving to be the curse of Secret so far. They're constantly being deleted from this location because they aren't taking control of it early in the game. A drone there might just be enough, but boys, these are basics that you're falling on down here, and they're really taking you to task. For a second, it looked like maybe a recovery was on the cards in a 2 versus 2, but with Savage falling down, Groovy's got it all to do against 2. No way. No way. This is why you spray on the soft walls, and now it's down to Oda to hold out. I tell you what, if Secret get this, Tim, this is a real smash and grab operation.
It absolutely is, because Bliss again have played this well. Secret at a point, Savage and Doom it was, just decided they needed to take some ground, like I've been saying, and they just aggressively got themselves inside of Archives, couple of kills into Office, and did something. But unfortunately for Secret, they didn't recognise that Order was out inside of Armory and was able to then just get a freebie onto Savage, which now leaves us in the 1v1. They had to rely on a little bit of luck to get there, with Grubby just spraying through the wall, picking a man up, but with 13 seconds left to go, Order holds his angle, knows where the pressure's going to come from. Again, a good round from Bliss, and they hold on.
All too easy there. Planted his feet, didn't move for the last 45 seconds, and just waited for Grubby to come anywhere near him. As said, that's 3 rounds now, really. I mean, yes, it came close in that round, and a little bit in the prior, but there's the tack timeout. Did think we'd see this now, because things have definitely not been going according to plan. Savage the one doing most of the talking here, rather than seeing Twister stepping in.
3-0 start then for Bliss, completely defensive sweep. Twister now does get involved in those conversations, and we're going to have to really try a different tack here, because ultimately Bliss are just going to rotate back through the same 3 sites. We saw them using Armory, of course, followed by Ventilation Workshop, and then off into Bathroom and Tellers. But the big problem, like I said, it's not really site-specific for Secret. At no point in those 3 rounds there have I really felt that Secret were in control of anything in the map, and that's been the big problem. You know, normally you expect an attacking team to at least have some control and be able to, you know, yeah, they were trying to build this execute, they were trying to work towards getting the plant down there, but that just, Secret haven't even got to that second step of, you know, your first step is entry and clearing some space, your second step is clearing utility and preparing for an execute, your third step is the final execute and planting, and Secret haven't even really got to that second step of being in a position to say, right, start clearing out utility, create that space for the plant to go down. It just hasn't happened for them. Very, very slow start on Border, but by contrast, I don't just want to put it onto Secret. Bliss have done really well. They've understood what the win conditions are, prevent them getting in the map, make them scared to take space, run out on them and get them on the balconies, and they've done it brilliantly.
And you have to do that on Border, because it's a map that has so many external facing sites, you know, external windows to jump in, doorways that can run in, for example. You kind of have to play the map to its entirety. You can't afford to give over large parts of it to the other side. It's why you'll see an office hold and a CC hold coming through in equal measure for a site like this one back up on the top floor. But again, for me, and I don't want to keep on harping on about it too much, because I imagine we'll see it change, but those E stairs have been the curse of Secret. Even when they've managed to bring the rounds back to being close towards the latter end of the round, it's often because they've lost 2 players to this area of the map. So let's get some drones on there. Let's even have a player come down and hold it. A Nomad is a wonderful idea, which is what they've got on side here with Grubby, and just make sure the same misfortune doesn't come about them again, because Bliss, as I think as we'll come to expect, will still want to be aggressive here, will still want to try and control the map, and will want to try and slow Secret down.
Brendo again in this same position that he caused so much trouble from last time. No surprise to see them doubling down on it. It wasn't something that they used necessarily for Armory last time around, but this time, given how much time he was able to waste, why not go for it again? Managed to get some kills as well. Right, so we've got a breach coming on in. We can see Fisher Guy being moved around here. He's still trying to support Brendo, but that's a good start from Secret. They're able to start just pushing Bliss back a little bit, but they can't give themselves away. Brendo able to just get up on the boost spot, takes down one, and that's going to be Miracle off the board with the E1D scans going with him. And again, Secret struggling to get inside.
Brendo was there last time. They should have expected that something like this would come out at some point. The main thing to talk about in this round, they changed the castle, right? This was a Legion last time round we played here. So immediately, they brought something along that changes how the game is played. Castle, as I described earlier in our previous matchup, is an architect. He changes how sites and even how the whole map is played. And here on board, when we had that change come through where he can barricade off the hallway, that brings so much potential creativity to this map, and it's really helped them hold on to 90 for so long. You know, now that we're about, what, 75 seconds left, we've seen them getting into a little bit of work. And I know Sage is fancy getting his way in through here to do a little bit of damage. Is their backside covered? Time will tell, but Doom is starting his march. 2 kills in the round.
Yeah, this is better from Secret. And why is it better? Because they've got themselves CCTV. They've got themselves something inside of the map that they can start to build from. They're opening up angles. They're doing a bit of hard breach, a bit of work, and they're forcing Bliss to think about it. Doom just trying a sneaky little position underneath, looking for one up the hatch, but Order goes in, manages to pick up Savage. Adrian is there for the trade, and Secret have done a good job of this time around, keeping themselves on top of that manpower advantage that they've got. Grubby goes in for the plant, has to back out, but he's going to go for it again. 30 seconds left to go, and Secret are looking good for their first round as Joom does manage to pick up Sage. Wettables, he's on a couple of HP and a dream here. Sees the back of Joom, can't find the kill. They know where he's coming from though, and Grubby picks up that finisher, and that is going to be the first round for Secret. How much of a momentum shift will that prove to be?
I think about what we said in the first game that we cashed yesterday is that relying on hero plays is no way to win out a game, and I don't want to say it's a full hero play off the back of that, but Joom is the one who's come in and made something happen. Brendo still found the entry. He was the one causing bother for them inside of CC, but Joom has been the difference maker, holding on that hatch from below. I was like, okay, the other three are all pushing upstairs together. He's very isolated, but was waiting and being so patient, ready for that hatch drop to come on through to then clean things out from top metal. Just again, really good stuff from him. Can't rely on that every single round. We've got to see the team really start pulling things together here.
Located a bomb.
Ventilation Workshop will be our next one then, and does that give some confidence to Secret, you know, about playing in behind that gadgetry, behind that utility, getting themselves some space, getting themselves established. It was certainly a better attempt from them that time around in round 4. In all honesty, you know, we would expect the attacking team on board to come away potentially with the 4-2 half and have a little bit of an advantage, but if Secret can come away 3-3 here, then you've got to really say that Bliss have let it slip a little bit. There's 2 rounds before that happens, and of course Bliss, you know, they've looked very good so far. I would still back them to take another round or 2 here, but if it does go 3-3, I dare say they'll be very disappointed with that.
Oh, I think so, given how free those first 3 rounds were, really. But again, Tim, we always talk about the magic of attack timeout. Even if Twister's words were, Joom, go kill, it can be enough to start turning around your fortunes. Brenda here across onto the Valkyrie, and it's now Fisher Guy jumping across and being on that Vigil instead. Really enjoyed playing it so far across this map. It's done a lot of work for them hanging around that CC area. But here looking to change things out, and Brenda taking some chip damage as well, of course. Like, oh God, do they know I'm here? I don't think so. More just blind fire through the map.
Going to dip himself away, knows he doesn't want to overstay his welcome there. Gets himself back towards that. Are they aware though?
Don't work, we know
that is never going to reach anymore. The breach was down at the bottom of the wall. He tried to go over the top. The impact nade radius, of course, has been reduced recently, and feeling the power of that as Joom goes in and indeed gets the kill, taking down Fisher Guy, but the trade is there from Brendo. 4 versus 4.
Again, just keep mixing things up here as well. I know Fisher Guy is on the Vigil, the main one to cause a bit of damage, and Brendo is always going to be joining him out there. He's been really aggressive on this map so far. That ain't changing just because he's now across and playing on the Valkyrie instead. So with all things equal, in that 4 versus 4, and a lot happening inside 60 seconds, it's worth touching on, Tim, where some of these previous rounds have been very slow. This one is moving at quite a pace.
It is, and I mean, the thing is, Bliss is still in a good position here. They've got 3 on site. They've got Order up above. You know, Secret still haven't really created the space that they need to be able to think about getting plant down here. They need the vertical to begin with, and they're not going to get it if they give Order 3 kills. You know, he peeks around the corner, picks up Savage. It's predictable when that wall has been opened up. He knows that somebody's going to be walking in on that right-hand side. There wasn't much of a challenge there, and it again just suggests a little bit of a lack of intel for Secret. Like, you know, they weren't necessarily aware the swing was going to come through, but the intel is there for Bliss. We saw them place a Valkyrie camera up there. They were watching it. Sage manages to pick up the Nitro kill. It's as easy as that.
They're just being picked off, Tim, so comfortably here. You know, the kill, the drop away, a C4 into a second. 2 players dead there without so much as a whisper on the side of Secret, and it looked like maybe in a 4 versus 4 they could start to balance this round out. But no Joom, no party potentially, unless Miracle can make something happen. Finds 1 for himself. Still 3 more to find though, and a good amount of time to do it in, admittedly.
Adrian is going to drop the smoke and then drop in himself. Look to see if he can get this plan down, but there's no way without the cover. Sage knows that. Sprays him down through the soft wall, and it's all up to Miracle now. 1 versus 3. No EE1D scans to his name, so he has nothing but his rifle to try and get this done.
Bit too much to do, I'm afraid, and the gunfight so far have all at least been going Bliss's way. He's going to get shot from 2 directions here, maybe even 3 if someone else joins the party. Nope, Sage to get the conversion. And again, I know that last round they managed to get over the line, but this is what I was on about with hero plays. Like, it looks like a walk in the park for Bliss. They're picking them off one at a time. They're not really having to get involved in big, massive, hairy firefights. They should have this 5-1. And it's weird to say on border that a team be up 5-1 defensively.
Bliss look great. Bliss look great.
Very good.
You know, absolutely fantastic stuff from them so far. They've been playing with confidence. They've been winning almost every gunfight. If they do lose a body, they usually get something for it. And that's an important thing. You know, if they are going to lose somebody, it's some utility that's been taken out, or they've got to kill just before that happens, for example. But I love this as well. The teamwork, just waiting for that call to come through. Boom, boom, boom. Sees his man. And again, Secret not dealing with the Valkyrie cameras. We've seen them bring in the IQ to begin with, but they didn't have it in the last couple of rounds, and it's hurt them then.
It has. This is their last chance now to get something going on the attacking side. Otherwise, it could be a real hard slog through that second half. I'll come back to what I always say, Tim. 2 halves to a game of Siege. You could see a very different Secret turn up on their defensive side here. So we'll keep an eye on how that goes. For now, though, Bliss, it's almost like a victory lap for them, Tim. One more round to get things up at 5-1, and they'll feel very comfortable. Straight away, I'm looking at this lineup on the side of Secret, and I'm just thinking, all right, there's a Nomad, there's an Amaru, we've got the Globals coming in from the KB and Lion. This feels like it could be a pretty fast hit coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking back at the operator line for the last couple of rounds, and, you know, that fact that I picked up on there of not, you know, choosing to sort of stop bringing the IQ. They brought it in round 2 and 3, but not in 4 and 5. But you've got a Vigil on the board that's causing you an absolute headache, and IQ can pick up on that scanner being used. You've got a Valkyrie on the board. IQ can pick up on those cams. I just think that there would have been a lot of value. Fenrir as well, so more gadgetry that could be picked up, and yeah, I think the lack of the IQ has hurt them.
10 to Savage here. Is it a hatch play that he's looking for? It could well be. Trying to do something a little bit unexpected. Here we go. He's going to try and make this one happen as well. Up towards his left as a player tucked in. Doesn't know too much about it. They've got the sandwich cover as well. And Savage is taking the long way around, but he's going for his man. Almost misses every single shot going, but it's enough to put him on his backside and gets to close off onto Otter at the same time. Adrian into another, this kind of two-sided entry, coming into Archives, coming into the West Wall. Everything is surprised the side of Bliss here into a 4v2. Feel the Secret need to get it closed out, but Brendo, while he still breathes, is giving nothing away. Knows that someone tucked in, but shoot the booty, my man! Down goes Groovy, a 2v2, a C4 over the top. It's going to finish him off. Sage onto a triple. What a half he's been building into as well. But now Brendo's got to do it all. Doom, I believe, is on about 1 HP at this point, Tim. It's perfectly winnable, but that diffuser's going to go down here as the flashes keep him away. Have to try and work some real magic, because they'll just drop away here and potentially play the vertical.
Yeah, this round's been a little bit nicer from Secret. I know it was a little bit of a rush, but it's kind of what you felt like they needed. Surely he's not going to be able to get away with this behind the reinforcement. He's waiting for the push, but I think there might have been an opportunity. No, he's just out there on the balcony.
He gets sprayed through the softball behind here, yeah.
100% sure on his position, but yeah, coming in from top metal. Manages to find the kill. June picks it up. A good round from Savage and a good round from Secret. This is what I was saying so long through this matchup. They've been waiting outside of windows, not going in and taking ground. The time that they do, the time that they send the Amaru in, get up the hatch, grab a bit of sight, they get in there, they get the diffuser down. It just goes way better for them, and they managed to really push Bliss then. So a 2-4 half for Secret. It's been a tough start.
Alexa's got some thoughts to share with us. Let's go over to him now.
Howdy, gentlemen. No, I'm super happy with how Bliss is playing, especially on that defensive half. I said it going into this game. This was going to be a game of fighting for those power positions or keeping those power positions, and that's exactly what Bliss was doing. Whether that was Wettables running out on top east, going for those spawn kills, Brendo fighting a lot of those top main controls, whether that was top east, or even fighting specifically inside break room and CCTV. He was holding down those perfectly. Otto was swinging out onto the balcony, getting a lot of those kills, and now they're switching it to the attack half. They have to bring that same aggression, but also expect the same aggression coming from Secret of stopping them in all those initial engagements. But I am confident if Bliss can keep that up, we're going to see a map 3 and going into that clubhouse.
Thank you very much, Lax. Indeed, Victory Clubhouse could yet be on the way to if Bliss and keep up the stellar performance they've been having so far on the map. I feel Secret are giving themselves at least a little bit of breathing room here, though, to have a good start to this half, to get a couple of rounds on the board, and suddenly we have what all casters love, Tim, a game on our hands. For now, though, it's in Bliss's control as to how this goes.
Savage is playing this with supreme confidence. There's been pot shots taken at the break door, but given that he's led prone, he's happy to stay here. Grubby, as Lax suggested, comes out with early aggression, manages to pick up Sage and Savage. He knows there's players that are going to approach from here. He's waiting, he bides his time, he takes the opportunity. A one tap, can't find it. Brendo does take some damage there, but a much better start from Secret on the defense than we saw from them on the attack.
It's the same sort of thing we saw coming out of Bliss, right? It's about that aggression on the defense, and I keep on talking about it. Border is most attacking in map list for us for a reason. This aggression is so important in the early round to try and keep them at the building for as long as you can. If you can get a kill or two in doing that, fantastic. But if you leave all 5 attackers up and the execute comes on through, very fair chance they are just going to swamp and overwhelm you because you control so much of the map at once. This has started out the same way that Bliss did on their half. 2 kills down. The Nomad went down before it could even get an air jab out, and they've also got rid of the Ossa. So many of the key operators that you need in this round, well, so many. 2 of the key operators that you need to make this round work are now offline.
If you remember, I spoke about, you know, the difficulty for Secret to get into the map on their attack, and something Laxin picked up on as well, not taking those power positions, not able to get that map control. It is now a problem that Bliss are experiencing for themselves. They haven't really got themselves established. They're still all out on balconies in this 3 versus 5, just trying to hold those external angles, see if they can pick somebody up, something up. They can't go in, they can't seem to get through this utility around these reinforcements to get into a position to take a favourable gunfight.
Nice.
It's going to take an explosive moment, and that's what Brando delivers, manages to get in, take down Adrian in sandwich, leaves us 3 versus 4.
Got to be careful about behind him here as well. There was a player on 9, so you could yet try and work his way up behind him, and I think he's half expecting it. Groovy still playing relatively passive for now, though, and just letting Brendo play this aggressive angle. The rest of them kind of convinced they've got it. They can lock this one down. He wins this 1v1. It's a very different conversation. Gets one. Flicks for the Valk. Almost finds him as well, but the Valk does get the down here. Savage holding inside the side, being swung by another. Will he find his man? Yes, he will. Miracle with a close at the same time, and Secret take the round.
Yeah, another great round from Savage there. He's had a couple back-to-back. He can't quite save his man in Fountain, but he does the job and gets a double at the end to close out the round for Secret. And honestly, I think Secret have got to be pretty happy at this point, Des. They've been like given the runaround a little bit from Bliss here. Bliss have been playing very, very well, and all of a sudden Secret now find themselves just 1 round behind. It really could be a lot worse than this.
It could. I mean, I'm looking at the stats here really quickly. That was only the 2nd entry kill they've found this entire game. Of course, when the side swap, it's, as mentioned, more likely you'll be aggressive as the defender. You'll try and catch someone out early. But that's where the issue lies, I think, is so often in these early rounds they found themselves falling short. Kind of a reverse to what we saw back on the east side of the map earlier on. Adrian with that 2nd one here too. Good stuff. Did think for a moment that Brendo might have something really magic going on. If he spins and puts down Savage here, that round suddenly becomes incredibly winnable, I think, for Bliss. So big on Savage for getting those 2 kills. The gap closes, just 4-3 now to Bliss.
We'll be moving on into round 8 then. If Secret can level things up here, it's a bit of a shame for Bliss in a lot of ways, because you look at it and think, you know, all that hard work that they've done is kind of undone at that point. The scores level up, and all of a sudden it's, you know, those thoughts are going to creep into their mind of, you know, how much problem are we going to have on the attack here? Last time out when we saw Secret attacking this side, they were unable to really get convincing top floor control. They got in there once or twice, but the 2nd time they did, they were certainly hit by a Nitro that did some serious damage. So let's see if Bliss can do a better job of getting themselves control of Armory and Archives.
Savage wants this so badly, but I don't think he'll be given the time of day now by Bliss. They've already moved on. They're into the next phase of the round. He acknowledges that just as much and now backs himself away. It was Fisher actually working himself outside here. Just kind of tracing each other across the map for the most part, but still like ships in the night, passing one another. No kills to come through for either side.
All stacking up on that south side for the time being here, Bliss. Just, again, wanting that full sweep across the top floor by the looks of it, not wanting to play in too directly. Going to begin by trying to get into CCTV, but out comes the Nitro from Grubby, and he manages to get the down. He won't be aware of that, and Sage will have the opportunity to collect his player, but Brendo is now going to be on 20 HP and needs to be careful in any further gunfights. Order, however, is creeping up the metal stairs. Oh, Secret aware of this? I'm not too sure they are. And the kill is actually going to come in from Grubby. He manages to get one before Order can do anything about it. Brendo taken down, but that's not a terrible trade because it starts buying a little bit of space for Bliss.
And it's good cover from the E1D coming out at the exact same time he gets that kill to make sure no one's swinging in for a trade off the back of that one, to guaranteeing that he can get away, and it's at least one being won back the other way. Just a shame that it came after Grubby had already found a kill inside a break. So a bit of a 1-for-1 there. Brendo going down. I don't think he'll have got rid of all the mirror windows. Is now the main concern. You might turn towards the ace, for example, and say, well, he can do it too. absolutely, but if you bring the Ash for that exact purpose to help deal with that, that's no longer going to be an option. Savage in this power position where we saw Brendo spending most of the first half has got himself a kill, but Odders really keeping his team in this round, Tim, 3v3.
Yeah, and Secret need to be careful here. They are very reliant on that verticality, and they need to make sure they use it. And as I say that, Miracle does exactly that. Does his job, gets the kill onto Order, and they can't be too confident of just being inside here. Sage tries to move in, but Savage, he's been great this round. He's backed up a number of positions. He's been very flexible. He's moved around. We saw Grubby lose the half wall when he got killed on the mirror. Who goes in there? Savage. And then when the push is coming into Armory, who's backing his teammate up? Savage. He's moved across. He does get taken out now, but his work is done for the round. Fisher guy, he's going to try and get one down on the threshold there, but the information is easily acted upon. Miracle gets his kill, and Secret have leveled things up 4-4, and Bliss all of a sudden have got their backs to the wall in this best of 3.
I think it's very easy to celebrate Doom, unsurprisingly. He's having a phenomenal tournament where I think he's one of our top 3 rated players at the moment. But I think in this game in particular, yes, Savage, but also Miracle. Those two for me have been so massive throughout the game. You know, keeping them in it very much. Even down at 4-2, they were large parts of the reason why they were still, you know, keeping themselves in it. Previous round, we saw the big 2K coming out from Savage. There, he's just got himself another sweet kill as well. Enough that it's keeping things going for the team here as well. And with it now being at 4-4, let's probably start to worry a little bit. That attack timeout, I imagine, will come in after this next round if they don't see themselves coming out on top. Because at that point, Secret are back in the lead at 5-4.
Yeah, like I said, that last round, it wasn't just about the kills for Savage for me. It was just about that game sense of, right, we've lost Grubby. He was holding on to CCTV, so I'm going to take that position. My guys getting pressured inside of Armory. I'm going to go and support that position. And it was just being sort of everywhere at the right time when they needed him. So well played there. Secret leveling things up.
10 seconds left before
you look at this, and the thing with Border is that as much as we talk about the attackers having a reasonable advantage, there's sort of an asterisk against that for me, and that's once they're established inside of the map. If the attackers get established inside of the map, then yes, plants are very possible on Border. But I would also make the counter argument that you've got 3 very defensible sites. You've got Armory, Archives, Ventilation Workshop, Bathroom Tellers, all of which can be and regularly are successfully defended. And Secret right now, I wouldn't put it past them to hold on to Bathroom and Tellers here. It's going to be a similar hold again, trying to keep that top floor, trying to keep Bliss from getting themselves established and using those verticals. And Secret have certainly shown an ability to do that. And Grubby, once again, picks up an entry onto Order. He keeps doing it. I think that's 3 in a row now.
It is, yeah. I mean, there's kind of a trend that's starting to build there. He gets the entry, they walk away with the round win, right? That's if they can convert this round. At least one coming back the other way as Adrian just domed away there. 4v4. Fisher also now falling down as well. Savage again. That name keeps on coming on our lips, Tim. He's doing so much work in these rounds. Another kill going his way. And Bliss, who's scratching their heads a bit here to about how the hell they get themselves back into this game.
Yep, Diffuser is down as well, so that's something for Bliss to be aware of. Gonna need collecting if they want to go and play for that objective. But Secret, yeah, they're happy with what they've done. They're happy with the kills they've got, and they've just backed themselves out a little bit here. They've decided to sort of retire away from the top floor. 3 on site, Savage out in customs, and now they're just gonna try and burn some time. The question is, how long does it take Bliss to recognize, to realize that they've been given that top floor, that they can start using those verticals? And in all honesty, I think the reason, or one of the reasons that Secret don't really mind giving up that top floor here, as important as the verticals are, they are less so on Bathroom and Tellers, because there's a little bit of that area inside of Office that can't be breached, that you can't find those verticals. Exactly that. So you can only really work around that hatch, and then there's the couple of wooden areas that you can use, but it's less important, it's less critical on this site for the defenders.
Brendo's been waiting for him to move for about 45 seconds now, and he's having absolutely none of it. Kept himself rooted in place, dug in behind this, I don't know, what is it, a shelf, a bookcase? I'd say a shelf at this point. Very well protected, of course, and can't be moved out of it too easy unless they've got themselves some nades to work their way through, but that's simply not going to be an option for them. Watch him swing here and get a kill onto Brendo after Brendo's committed so much time in trying to make him move. It's just not happening.
Comes around the corner, and exactly that. Doom, just the patience pays dividends. Grubby starts the round, finishes the round, doing everything that Secret need right now. Des, they've really woken up here on Border. That is now 4 rounds in a row, and Bliss are in serious trouble.
Surely timeout, timeout. This needs to breathe. There we go, it's coming. Bliss have taken the tack timeout here. 3 rounds in a row they've been crushed on. It's not good. Admittedly, this is the same pattern that we followed back in that first half, though. It took 3 rounds of Bliss winning before we did see Secret get one back the other way. So if after this tack timeout, and we've seen some really good tack timeouts, we now see a win coming through, we're mirroring what we saw back in that first half.
Yeah, Secret just have some serious momentum now. And much like, you know, it's much like the defensive start that Bliss had. They've got the first 3 sites. They've done the full defensive rotation. They're going to move around. Secret showed an ability to adapt. They won that 4th round. They went to Armory and Archives and they were able to get it done. We need to see that same adaptation now. It's a very clean sort of mirror, really, that Secret have got the first 3 rounds and now Bliss need to show that they've got a plan B, a plan C, that they can do something to grab around, because if they don't, they're going to be facing match point, and Secret, they're really feeling this right now. They can taste that quarter-final, Des. They know that they're only a couple of rounds away from making the live stage here at the Manchester Major.
I just thought I'd check the stats actually on Border across 3 major regions of EU, NA and Brazil. Border is 46% in 2 of those regions, in EU and NA, but surprisingly over in Brazil, 60% defensive win rate. Not really what you come to expect, and yet all we're seeing in this game is defenders running away with things. Now for Bliss, again, the attention turns onto them. They've had that tack timeout. They've addressed the problems they've seen across those 3 rounds. We get to play, air quotes, another quarter of Siege. Those same 3 sites will get played again here. They can take what they've learned from them and try and apply it to course correct. Otherwise, Secret, if they get this map win, let's not forget, they will be the first team going through to our quarterfinals.
Savage is just going to be roaming on the underneath for the time being. He's got the Valkyrie, so we'll have a little bit of intel above. I was wondering if there's maybe a Valkyrie camera inside of CCTV, and he's possibly going to play for the Nitro down from inside of Customs. He's looking for the peek out of detention, I think that is, to begin with. But it's going to be Adrian who gets that E-stairs run out onto Brendo. Bliss, it's one that you used yourself. You can't be letting yourself lose fights and lose manpower there so early in the round.
And that's a great mental breaker as well. You've come in, you've had a talk for 45 seconds. Cool, here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to run this perfectly set up style of execute. It's going to be great. We have the glass on side. Cool, you've just lost 2 e-smokes. You've lost your fire, which means now when you come to the execute, Secret have got so much more freedom to move around. And Miracle's currently licking his lips here. I don't even need the glasses at this point. There's only 2 smokes to worry about in the back pocket of Bisho. So, dream start. Secret will be delighted with that. Bliss, they're going to be in agony.
Yeah, I feel like Bliss have just been sort of rattled a little bit by the last 4 rounds from Secret, and the focus, you know, definitely doesn't seem quite as intense. The aggression has been tempered over the last few rounds, and there you go, nothing will temper aggression like a Nitro coming out of Miracle to hit Fisher Guy. Find ourselves now 5 versus 3.
And now Wettables has got to deal with the glass with no smokes. Not quite the most ideal. Sure, you can hold these longer angles and maybe find a kill, but you even missed that onto Miracle. He stays standing. Reverse shots coming on through. He's now down to half HP, being hassled from E-stairs, I believe, as well. Yep, we've got Adrian dancing around there. Secret are just... 2 halves to a game of Siege.
Different gravy in the second half there.
Always say it.
Absolutely different gravy. Order manages to pick up Adrian, so that gets something going for Bliss at least. They need to build from here. They do have time on their side, that is something, and they are kind of together. They're on the same side of the map at least, although saying that Order is going to drop underneath. We just see his silhouette disappearing there. Not sure where he's going to reappear, but for the time being, it's going to be the Glaz of Wettables who's just trying to get some angles in towards sight. But Secret, they just need to play this smart, Des. They've got a minute to go. They're 4 versus 2. That's exactly what they need to do. Just get the reinforcements. You know, maybe a long-range engagement, but just don't give them anything here. Just force Wettables to move into your line of sight now.
It just feels like Bliss are fighting the ghost of the first half. Like the same amount of aggression coming out of Secret that we saw from Bliss is really punishing them. And yet we always ask these kind of questions like, hey, you've employed this exact kind of tactic yourself. It doesn't make it any easier to deal with, but you would hope at least have a bit of a stronger idea. A nice shot there onto Savage, who was desperate to get the closing kill of the round there. He already found the prior 1. Probably at least forgiven by his team here, given it is a 1 versus 4. Though, as we always say, the disciplined thing to do is to sit back here, wait for the crossfire, as we just found. Secret, again, fully in control here. And Bliss, I imagine, a little bit downbeat, downtrodden. That was after their attack timeout. That was their chance to fight back in. But for Secret, 1 more round, Tim, and they're our first quarter finalists.
Yeah, and it's certainly looking like it's heading in that direction. The faces of Bliss say it all, really. I think at this point, you know, given so many rounds in a row have gone against them, 5 now Secret have been able to win. It just feels like the mental's been broken a little bit here, and they're getting a bit quiet. They don't really know what to do to grab themselves around. Absolute beauty for a Miracle there. It's, you know, again, it's the oldest trick in the book. If you hear the castle being hit, bang a nitro on the back of it, and boom, you get yourself a kill. Absolutely beautiful stuff. All you've got to play with is the timing, because obviously people will usually hit the barricade and they'll move away as they're hitting it, and then they'll come back to hit it again. So you've just got to think about that beat, that rhythm, that 1, 2, 3, and then hit your nitro on the 4 and bang, away you go. Nice and easy. Great stuff from Secret. They've looked like a different team in the last few rounds.
It's that second half, Tim, honestly. It's the 2 halves to a game of Siege effect. I'm telling you, it's a thing. The biggest thing for me when I look at this, though, now 1 round really separates a team from being done, having to play no more games until the live finals. The other's got to go through 2 more best-of-3s to have any chance of still being able to fight this in. They go 2-1 here, they have to play the best-of-3. They go 2-2 there, they've got to play another best-of-3 to decide if they stay or not. And that must be heartbreaking after having such a good couple of days.
And I'm not saying that, like, Secret weren't a tough team to play against. They're showing exactly why they're such a tough team to play against. But think about, I don't know who Bliss are going to face up in that next, you know, matchup.
Could be anyone,
but
yeah.
in the 2-1, it could be somebody like FaZe. You know, they're going to be heading in there. You know, we've got some big names that are going to be going in there. They could be up against PSG Tower.
I was about to say, mate, you're facing the biggest of them all, the BDS players. I wouldn't want to play anyone at this point, mate.
You know, joking aside, as we've said, there are no easy matchups here.
Nope.
You know, whoever that is, and I'm sure that they're going to be well aware of that, Bliss, here, because they've come against a Secret team that have really woken up. Savage getting a nice nitro onto Brendo to kick things off. 5 versus 4, they're in the driving seat here.
The top fragger on the other side as well. Brenda's had such a good game, but the second half has been incredibly quiet for every member of Bliss. We keep on saying it, but it feels like basically a total shutout from the side of Secret, showing their class, and are potentially here only about 2 minutes away from securing that spot in the quarterfinals. For starting things off, though, we're seeing this main wall focus coming in on the other side. You've got 4 players all gathering around CC. So maybe that's going to be where the hit comes through. Again, not forgetting that this is about that top floor control. It's not about that being the site, but I mean, you know there's probably going to be a guy on half wall, and you just give him Doom an absolute freebie. It wasn't an instant headshot. There was a good few shots coming out there. They paid the price. They've got the trade, sure, but you've gone 1 for 1. Doom will take that every day of the week.
Oh, 100%. And it's the Hibana that's gone as well.
They can't open the hatch.
Looking across now, you can't open any hatches. Castle barricades are going to be tricky. Yeah, you can get a couple of them with your Zofia, but you're going to want some of that Zofia maybe to help with the verticals, because otherwise you're putting it all onto your Sage, or onto the Booker Sage, and it just starts to become like difficult. You've just got everybody becoming so essential now for Bliss.
That's what it's really starting to build into. They've got to make something happen, be a little bit creative about this one. I'm not quite sure trying to get some control of customs is necessary to play, but that at least is what they're looking into. Making it work between the 3 of them now against the 4 still on the side of Secret, and only 45 seconds to play with. It's going to get a little bit desperate. They can't drop that hatch. They can't get the plant down. That's normally the go-to here. So Secret really putting up roadblocks in front of them, forcing them to think on their feet. And as the seconds whittle away down to our last 30, panic stations start to settle in. It's going to take a real scrappy round end here to stay in this game as Bliss.
Yeah, that's it. And you just feel like there's going to be an opportunity somewhere for Secret to grab another kill here or there, give themselves a bigger advantage, because Bliss,
man, they can see it, man.
Find this tough. In goes the EMP, there goes the rotation to come in through main door instead, but here comes the retake of the verticals. Miracle has made a smart play there. Order is getting the diffuser down, but is likely to be taken out. It's going to be Adrian who finds it, and it's going to be Team Secret who are our first quarter-finalists, our first guaranteed competitors on that live stage here in Manchester.
That's a mega achievement, because I can guarantee you very few people around the world, Tim, had Secret down as their first team in the quarterfinals, but they have done it. 3-0 record, very impressive, and beat some big teams on the way. You know, people might look at that and go, okay, then you've qualified off beating Bliss. Bliss have played very well too, but the other teams have had to go through along that way. Just tells the story. There are no easy games, as we keep on saying at this tournament, Tim, and Secret are looking like one of the harder ones to play against.
Yeah, they certainly are. The thing that they've shown me there is all throughout, they've shown good strategy. They've shown, you know, we know the mechanical ability is right up there, but what they've just shown us there is really good mental resolve as well. You know, they were getting pushed around by Bliss in that first half. They've had to fight back. They've got on the defense. They've turned it over. Great stuff from Secret.
I'm really curious to see exactly what they've got when it comes down to their sort of standing as well, because I know that June was really highly rated before we came into this one, but it may even be now that he finds himself sat basically right towards the top. Second he sits in, just behind NJR. But Tim, we got Twister standing by for an interview. Ginny, I can hear you in my ears. Just take it away.
Yeah, sorry, we were having a little conversation ahead of the interview because you guys have now qualified for the main stage. 3-0 here in phase 2. Talk us through the emotions right now because you said a little bit earlier.
Well, I think like even us, we didn't expect that, to be honest. We are always confident for sure, but 3-0 in a tournament like this with such huge teams that are playing right now, I think it's something that was a surprise for us, and we're so happy to be there right now, but well, the job's not done yet.
You're talking about it being a surprise, particularly for you guys. This is the first time you're on LAN as a team. It's the first time we've seen Secret on the LAN in a very long time as well. So what were the expectations coming into this? What was the mindset?
I do believe that perfect mindset for us right now is either we win or we learn. And I think this is helping a lot because we have young players, we have players that haven't played LAN for a long time. So I think like this is huge for them to have this space to feel comfortable and actually perform at their best. And this is the result.
And you guys have been obviously performing your best, 3-0. That is an incredible feat. But we're looking towards that main stage as well. You obviously have, you're going to have a day off included in that too. What is the next couple of days looking like for Team Secret? How do you stay on your A game?
As we just play, I believe about the seeds, we play the 2-3 or the 13 to qualify. We still need to wait until the last day so we can prepare properly for this team. So right now is more focused into us a little bit, working to the mental side, prepare for the crowd and stuff like this. And I do believe in the end of the day, we'll be able to perform our best, same way that we did over here.
How are you going to prepare some of these rookies for the crowd? It's going to be their first time. What's the coach going to do?
Well, I think the best thing that I can do as a coach is like try to create an environment where he can feel comfortable about that, and he do not care that much about having people shouting there as like it's not a big deal. That way he can actually just don't focus onto that and focus into his game, which is the most important thing.
All right, well, thank you so much for the insights and for the interview. Congratulations once again on your win. We're going to be back after the break with an interview with Joom, so make sure you stick around.